Welcome along, everybody, to our driver ratings for the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, if it's your first time tuning on in, basically, we're going to go through every driver in reverse race finishing order, discuss their weekend as a whole, and then rate their performances. Their performances, right? Not the result, their performances. And we're going to be doing it based off of both qualifying and the race. Yeah, let's get on to it. Now, if you're over on TikTok or the YouTube stream, be sure to come over to Twitch. There'll be a poll up in chat that you can vote on, and you'll only be able to vote on it in the Twitch chat. So come over to Twitch, join us in voting on those polls. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's wait for some people to tune onto the stream before we start. But how are we all doing? What do we rate the race out of 10? Let me run a poll on the on the Twitch stream. What do we rate the poll? What do we rate? What do we rate the race out of 10? What do you rate the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix? Oh, what the fuck? S, A, B, C, D. All right, polls up. What do you rate? What do you rate it? I give it like a solid, I don't know, B plus, A minus. Like it was a very solid race. A lot of strategy. Nothing really crazy happened. It's not a race I'll go watch the full race back of. Or even, it's not even a race I'd probably even watch the highlights back of. You know what I mean? But I was very entertained in the moment. So I'm going to say like B plus, maybe A minus. I don't know. It was good. What's up, Max Verstappen? Welcome to the TikTok stream. How we doing? All right, let's get into our driver ratings. Now, again, we're going to be rating their performances solely for qualifying the race. We're going to be doing the ratings together. So let's go. Starting off, actually, let me turn my music down. I swear if Norris is higher than an 8 out of 10, we'll see. Once we get to him later on. All right. Let's go. Let's get into it. First driver, starting off with our first driver, we have got Nico Hulkenberg, who ended up getting a DSQ for his skid wear. Let me get the poll up. All right, poll is up in chat, Twitch chat. Again, if you're over on TikTok, if you're over on YouTube, come over to the Twitch stream. In there, you'll be able to vote on the poll for the drivers. Now, this is how the poll works. Every single driver will have a poll, and you basically type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in chat for what you want to vote for Hulkenberg's weekend. Again, his performance, not his result. 1 being terrible, he crashed, the worst weekend of all time. 10 being he was absolutely perfect. 5 being average. So that's kind of the scale. So get a vote in chat. Yo, Adam! Thank you, dude. Appreciate the 48-month resub, man. Thank you. Really do appreciate you supporting the stream, as always. Hope you're doing well. I know you love the driver ratings portion of the stream, so appreciate you tuning in, dude. Thank you. Also, Crazy Firelord, thank you for the follow. All right. Let's talk about Hulkenberg's weekend. So he ended up getting a DSQ. Actually, let's talk about his results first. Let's talk about how he actually did. So in qualifying, he made it through to Q2, but then he got invalidated lap time too late, which meant he actually completed it in Q2, but he shouldn't have. So he actually technically went out in Q1. He got a 132.0, and Gabriel Bortoleto got a 132.1. So he was 1 tenth ahead of his teammate, but again, his teammate is a rookie. He should probably be doing better than that. But then again, the cell was so hard to drive. He outqualified Lawson, he outqualified Stroll, he outqualified Behrman. Nothing too crazy. Maybe I'd hope for more from Hulkenberg and a Sauber, but you know, he didn't do terrible, but it's just a pretty standard qualifier, I guess, for the Sauber at the moment. Then in the race, let me have a look. Where was he prior to the DSQ? He finished in P15, ahead of Hadjar, ahead of Alonso, ahead of Stroll, and 12 seconds ahead of his teammates. So he did pretty good in the race as well. Unfortunately, he did get DSQ'd. For people who don't know, he had too much wear on his skid block. The exact same thing that happened to Hamilton and... No. Who was it in China that had the skid wear problem? Was it Hamilton and Leclerc, or Hamilton and Russell? Hamilton... No, Gasly was fuel, right? It was Hamilton and... Wait, I'm so confused. Anyways... It was just Hamilton. Both Ferraris. Okay, so Hamilton and Leclerc in China, the exact same problem. Too much wear on his block, on his plank. So he got DSQ'd after the race. Not his fault, of course, so we're not going to be rating him off of that. Again, we're rating solely performances. There's no bias. Like, just because you're a top-tier driver, you're not going to get a lower rating because you didn't do as well as you normally do. And if you're a rookie, you're not going to get an inflated rating just because you're a rookie. No biases. Just solely their performance as a driver. Yeah, what do we give Hulkenberg? What do we give? I feel like it's a kind of a tough weekend. We always really struggle to rate the Saubers because they genuinely do nothing the whole weekend and they're just a bad car. At the end of the day, he beat his teammate. He made a few mistakes. Obviously made that mistake in qualifying. He got taken out or had that collision with Liam as well. I don't know. I feel like he did okay. I feel like you just got to give him like a 5. Like, am I wrong in thinking a 5's bad? Like, if 5's average, maybe you could say 4.5. Like, just below average. Like, he beat his teammate, but he probably should have made it through to Q2 if he didn't invalidate his lap. And in the race, he did pretty good. Maybe he should have beaten Doohan in the race, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell with the Sauber, so I'm just going to say 4.5. He got 13th before the DSQ. Really? I'm looking at here and it says he's got 15th. Oh, but then Lawson had a pen. Right. No, he would have got 14th. How did he get 13th before the DSQ? I'm going to say 5th then. I'm going to say a 5. He had an average weekend for a Sauber, an average weekend. He didn't stand out. To be honest, you could maybe even argue he did pretty good. Maybe a 6. You guys are rating him quite low. Why are you guys rating him low? Again, after you type your rating in chat, also let me know why you rated that so we can discuss it. Vanek and the Fejmik, welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you for the follow as well, dude. He fought his way into Q2, so I'm going to rate him harshly. Can votes be changed? No, they can't. It's the first number you type in chat. Hope finished 13th. Not really bad for the Yeah, I actually think he did well. I mean, obviously, maybe the reason he finished 13th was because of the advantage you got from the plank. But I don't know. I would say with 5. Maybe there's an argument you could be higher. Maybe we're just rating him harsh because of the DSQ and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to 5. And we'll move on because there's not really much to talk about with Hulkenberg and the Saubers every week, other than just the fact that he outperformed Bortoleto. So yeah. All right, let's move on. Actually, what did you guys vote on the poll? You guys, majority of you said 3. Okay, interesting. All right, moving on. Next driver, we have got Carlos Sainz. What do you rate Carlos Sainz Bahrain Grand Prix? Again, type in chat what you rate out of 10. Let's talk about it. So, Carlos Sainz in qualifying, he qualified P8 for once. He out-qualified his teammate. Albon went out in Q1, again, missing out on Q2 because of that Hulkenberg shitty situation with the FIA not checking Hulkenberg's lap time. But in Q1, he out-qualified Albon by 5/10. So Albon made a mistake on his lap. And Sainz made it all the way through to Q3, and he was second best of the rest behind Gasly. So I think finally Sainz showed the form we kind of expect from him in the Williams. He did really well. He also out-qualified Lewis. He also out-qualified Yuki Tsunoda. So he's had a banging qualifying, to be fair. I'd probably give him like a 9 out of 10 for qualifying. And then in the race, prior to him getting that damage, he was in front of Albon, still in the points, which was good. And then Albon dropped after he pitted, and then Sainz got tangled up in Tsunoda. So he was riding on the edge of points prior to getting the damage with Tsunoda. No fault of his own that happened. And then he's ended up having to DNF from the race because of the side pod problem. With that said, I think he's had a good weekend, man. I think he's had a good weekend. He showed the form that we expect from Sainz, making it through to Q3, out qualifying his teammate, out racing his teammate, on the edge of points, and it's not his fault that he DNF'd, so I'm going to give Sainz an 8. I don't think it's fair to rate him any lower than a 7, so, is there any arguments as to why he probably shouldn't be an 8? Like, I think 8 is like a great weekend, and I think if it wasn't for the DNF, he was going to have a great weekend. I think he would have got points as well, so, and when you think about the fact that all 8 of the big dogs were in the points, there was only going to be 2 points up for grabs. But Antonelli got fucked over. So yeah, I think Did he get pens? Didn't he get pens? Wait, did Sainz get a pen? Maybe you're right. Maybe it should be a little bit of a lower rating because of his pens. 3 was a tough race, had a good quality, just lacked pace in the race. 9 for the hair, but 6.9 for the drive. His best GP so far, got unlucky with the damage, but was driving really well. Wait, 3 was a tough race. What did Sainz do in the race that was tough? His best GP of the year. Yeah, definitely his best so far. He also drove really well with the hole in his side pod. Yeah, exactly. His defense wasn't the best. A lot of poor moves, in my opinion. Yeah, true, true. Yeah, 10-second pen. What was the 10-second pen for again? For pushing Antonelli off. Oh, okay. Maybe in that case, because he got a pen, that also would have cost him points if he had of not had the side pod damage. I'll drop it down to a 7. Because, yeah, that probably would have prevented him from getting points. T-Tap, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he had a good weekend. I think he had a good weekend overall. I think a lot of people are going to rate him harshly because of the result, but we're not here to rate the result, so I'm happy to give Signs a 7. Maybe just me being harsh just didn't impress me loads. Q3 in a Williams, in the points in a Williams. I think that, and it was a packed grid. It was a packed top 8. I'm happy to give him a 7. Right, you guys are saying majority 6 though. Okay. All right, we move on. Next driver. Signs 7 for Signs or 7.25. You should do 2 5s. Oh no, it get way too complicated if you start doing 7.25 or 7.75. Oliver Ander, thank you for the follow, dude. Welcome to the stream. All right, moving on. Next driver, first driver that finished the race is, well, actually, first driver not to get DSQ'd or DNF on the race is Gabriel Bortoleto. Poll this up for Gabriel. Get your votes in the Twitch chat. What do you vote Gabriel Bortoleto's Grand Prix? Yeah, he had a bit of a tough one. So, Bortoleto went out in Q1, 1/10 behind his teammate, which isn't bad for him as a rookie, you know? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, he's shit, get him out of the sport. Obviously, again, but still 1/10 behind his teammate. He outqualified Lance Stroll and Ollie Behrman, though, which is pretty good. But, you know, I think Hulkenberg showed the car was capable of making Q2. And he didn't. So, not a great qualifying from Bortoleto. Then, in the race, he finished in dead last. He finished, what'd I say, 10 seconds behind his teammate? Yeah, 10 seconds. Oh, no, that's not even the last lap. He finished 1, 6, 8... 11, yeah, 11-ish, 12 seconds behind his teammate, which again isn't bad, but still not amazing. He finished in dead last behind Stroll, behind Alonso, behind Hadjar. Yeah, you know, it says he finished P18, but obviously he did actually finish P19. I think he's had a very poor weekend. Look, he hasn't crashed. He hasn't really made a mistake. Just not on his teammates' level and just ultimately struggling with that car. The car is obviously hard to drive, but I think he's really showing a lack of confidence at the moment. So I'm probably going to give Bortoleto a 3. It's below average weekend because of his teammate situation, below average weekend because of his result as well. Yeah, I'm not going to give him a 2 because, again, he didn't fuck up. And I think I'm not going to give him a 1 or 2 because he didn't fuck up. But I think 3 has always been my, like, you didn't do well, but, like, you didn't do terrible. So, I'm going to say 3, probably. I'm going to say 3. Not crashing is underrated. Yeah, true. But no one really crashed in this race. So, yeah. He's okay, but not pushing Hulk for potential points. I'd say 4. Yeah, maybe there's an argument for 3.5. Maybe it's something I could move around later, but yeah. We discussed the George Penn yet. We discussed it before when we talk about the news, but we'll talk about it more probably once we get to George Russell in the ratings. Klytos, thank you for the follow, dude. Welcome to the stream. Should I do 3.5? Am I being too harsh from Bortoleto? To be fair, he wasn't far off his teammate. I'm gonna say 3.5. We'll go 3.5 for Bortoleto. I think it's just the Sauber making him look worse than what he actually is. So I'll stay on a 3.5. Anyways, you guys give him a 4. It's very split between 3 or 4. So maybe let's agree on a 3.5 then. We'll agree on 3.5. All right. Next up, we have got Lance Stroll. Woo! Back to his usual form. Poll is up in the Twitch chat. Get your votes in. What do you rate Lance Stroll? Lance Stroll's Bahrain Grand Prix. Body. Banger tune. All right, so Lance. In qualifying, he qualified P19. He was 6/10 off of his teammate. Okay, actually, I'm happy we gave Bortoleto a 3.5 now. Now, thinking about it, maybe he should get a 4 as well. Yeah, Lance Stroll finished 6/10 behind his teammate. He went out 19th. He only out-qualified Ollie Behrman. Then in the race, he finished ahead of Bortoleto, but you fucking hope he's finishing ahead of Bortoleto in a Sauber. He finished behind Liam Lawson and his teammate. and Hulkenberg prior to the DSQ. He only finished 5 seconds behind Alonso, which is decent for his standards, but I think the Aston Martin is just absolutely poo. Yeah, I think overall, I'm glad we kind of kept the 3. I'm kind of glad we kept like the 3 or the 2.5 open for Stroll, because he was so much worse than his teammate. You know what? I'm gonna go 4. He gained places. Did he? He gained 2 places, and they're on people who DNF/GSQ'd, so he didn't even gain places. You know, we'll say 3. He didn't do anything wrong. The car is in a bad spot. I'll say 3. And you know what? We'll bump up Bortoleto to a 4, because Bortoleto didn't actually do that bad. Bortoleto didn't do that bad in comparison to his teammate, whereas Stroll, 6 cents off your teammate in qualifying, not good, not good. Oh, he 3-stopped. Did he? I don't know that. Okay. He actually gained places. Homies will never forget Lance in the first race. Yeah, he was on it, man. He was on it. Arian and Malbo. What is up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say, really, about Stroll. Yeah. There's much more to say about Stroll. I think we'll move on. I think we'll move on swiftly from Lance. All right. Majority of you guys saying a 3. Okay, we agree. We agree. Let's move on. Let's move on quickly from Stroll. Before we move on to... Actually, no, we've got one more driver, don't worry. Next up, we have got Liam Lawson. Oof. Another tough weekend. We're not going to crash out. We're not going to crash out today. Liam's rating... Liam's poll is up. What do you rate Liam Lawson's Bahrain Grand Prix? 1! Oh, no. I'm going to have to crash out. Oh, my God. I'm gonna have to crash out. How is it a 1, guys? Are we for real? Okay. In qualifying, Liam went out in P17. He got out-qualified by his teammate by 0.6, but his DRS didn't open on his lap, which is very unfortunate. You know, it just like Albon missing out on Q2, I genuinely think Liam could have made it through to Q2 if it wasn't for that issue. And then it would have been nice to actually compare him to Hadja for once, because obviously first race in Japan, it was his first race in the car. I really wanted to see how him and Hadja compared. And Hadja obviously didn't do that well this weekend either. And yeah, Liam going down in Q1, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. That DRS cost him. Then in the race, he had obviously a chance to redeem himself. And he didn't really move up the grid. To be honest, not many drivers... sorry, Hadja didn't move up many positions either, if I have a look. Actually, how many positions did Hadja move up? No, Hadja lost positions off the start. Hadja fucking dropped way down off the start. So at least Liam held position, but again, it's still not amazing. And then the problem with Liam was he was stuck, right? We saw with Kimi Antonelli at the end of the race how... when you're on the same tire in that midfield pack, it's not a DRS train necessarily, but you do have to kind of dummy the driver in front or go for different moves. And I think Liam said in his interview, like, for me to get past, I needed to go for some risky moves. And unfortunately, 2 of his risky moves ended up causing collisions. I do think it's really weird that Liam's first incident with the Sauber was so minor. Is it a pen? Absolutely, it should be a pen. But it didn't cause any damage. And he gets a 10-second pen. But then Yuki causes damage and doesn't get a pen. So I think that was quite harsh for Liam. Again, fair. Sorry, I think it's fair for Liam. I think it's harsh given how the other incidents played out in that race. But yeah. So yeah, had 2 incidents. I still haven't seen the second incident. Can someone link the second incident? There was the one that he had with Hulkenberg where he touched and he got the pen for. What was the second one? Or did they just keep popping up the same graphic over and over again? He went up to P10, then fell back after the pit stops and penalties. No idea. That's what I mean. Like, I swear we didn't even see the second incident. Yeah. Anyways, in the race, he finished in P16 with penalties. So he still beat Stroll and Bortoleto with his penalties. If it wasn't for his penalty, where did he finish in the race, actually, prior to the pens? So, prior to the pens, he finished P13. On race pace, he finished ahead of Doohan, he finished ahead of Hulkenberg, he finished ahead of Hadja, he finished ahead of Alonso, Stroll, and Bortoleto. He was just behind Albon. Yeah, obviously obviously the penalties cost him, and he dropped down to P16. So, yeah, I think you guys are being very harsh giving him a 1 and 2 because qualifying was not his fault. His race pace actually looked better than Hadja. I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he had better race pace than Hadja. It's just not unfortunate. I think it just sucks that he went for moves and he wasn't able to pull them off. And that cost him penalties. In the end, it didn't cost him points, but it did cost him kind of like a good showing, I guess you could say. But I think it showed the race pace was there in that very mixed up grid. Unlike Hadja, he actually moved up the grid. So I think I'm going to give Behrman... I think I'm going to give Lawson... It's hard because I think qualifying wasn't his fault, but we didn't get to see him in qualifying. I think his race pace was good, but he ruined it with the penalties. So it's like, yeah. I think I'll give it's hard because we gave Stroll a 3. We gave Stroll a 3, and Stroll was nowhere near his teammate. Whereas Liam outpaced his teammate in the race, but then kind of threw it with the penalties. I don't know. Heart says 2, but reality says 1. You drop Signs down for his pen on Antonelli. How can you not drop Liam when he got 25 seconds worth of pen? But that's the thing, though. I'd probably give Liam like a 4 this weekend, because we didn't get to see his pace in qualifying, and his race pace looked okay. His race pace looked good, but so I'd probably knock 1 off for the pen. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3 for Liam. Yeah. I don't think he did anything extremely wrong. I don't think he did anything bad. I think the incident should have been cleaner. 100% the incident should have been cleaner. But I think, yeah, I think his race pace was good in comparison to Hadja. And, you know, if we look at the performance, that's pretty good. But he just needs to clean up those moves, because I get why he went for the moves. You know, obviously a few drivers on the grid got penalties for their moves as well, or had contact with their moves as well. So you have to kind of go for those deep dives. But I almost feel like I wish he kind of just kept it clean and finished. I would have rather he kept it clean and finished behind Duan than risked it and got pens. But hey, hopefully he'll learn from that. Anyways, what are you guys saying? You guys are very harsh on Liam, so I don't even know if I want to read the chat. Had his 2 good races and now he flopped. Oh wait, I scrolled too far. We're up to I was way back up to Stroll. He's performing horribly in a good car. But was the car good this weekend, though? Because Hadja also underperformed. I mean, I guess we'll find out once we get to Hadja what you guys' consensus is. But, yeah. Knock, welcome to the stream. I'm new here. There's no 0, right? No 0. I don't like doing 0, because otherwise then you're rating out of 11 then. Has anyone seen the second penalty for Lawson? Yeah, that's what I mean. The first penalty was a touch, and the second one I haven't even seen. He had 25 seconds worth of penalties. How is that not low? Wait, he had 25? I thought he had a 10 and a 5. No, there's no way. No, he didn't get 25 seconds of pens. Because he finished. No, he didn't have 25 seconds of pens. On the last lap, he was 5, 8, 11, 12. Yeah. Liam was 15 seconds ahead of Stroll on the last lap, and he finished ahead of Stroll. So he got 15 seconds of pens. I don't know why people kept saying he got 25 seconds of pens. I think people kept looking at the graphic on screen and thinking that meant 25 seconds. He got 35-second pen. What? Am I tripping? I've literally just done the math. He didn't get 25 seconds of pens. Otherwise, he would have finished behind Stroll and Bortoletto. But he didn't. He got 15 seconds. And 15 seconds slots him right where he finished in the standings. I'm confused. Anyways, let's hit the chat with another. He said it right this weekend, guys. Not how many races he had for Red Bull. Just stop being asked and then I'll stop. Liam did not finish 16th with 25 seconds of pens. He did. I'm literally looking at the standings right now. Liam, P16. He didn't get 25 seconds of pens. How has people been so misinformed? Has like fucking an F1 hate page randomly just decided to say that Liam got 25 seconds of pens? FIA documents. Let's have a look. Now I'm confused. Where have you guys pulled 25? How are all of you so convinced it's 25 seconds of pens? Car 30, 5-second penalty for causing a collision. Car 30, 10-second penalty for causing a collision. Where's 25 seconds come from? So one was... Okay, let's have a look at the documents now. Infringement, 63, 55, 7, 30. Okay, so Liam Lawson, collision with 27, which is Hulkenberg. The one we saw on screen, 10-second time penalty, 2 penalty points. At the approach of turn 1, car 30 attempted to overtake car 27 on the inside, however, missed the apex of the corner, hence was unable to make a normal racing line and consequently collided with the car 27. Yes, you got a 10-second penalty. We saw that one on the broadcast. What was the 5-second for? Car 18 at turn 2. Who's 18? Stroll. Has anyone seen this? Has anyone got this footage? Is there any footage of this? Car 30 overtook car 18 into turn 1, however, lost momentum by missing the apex. Then the car 18, having taken a better exit, was in the front at the entry of turn 2 and was entitled to racing room in the corner. However, car 30 collided with the rear axle of car 18, causing a collision and forcing 18 to compromise his exit. As there was only minor contact, there was a 5-second. Okay. Yeah. We didn't see that on the broadcast, but... Okay. Oh, wrong screen. Anyways, I'm glad we got the hate out of the way. Where the fuck did 25 seconds come from? What's up? Exatrum on the stream. He caused an incident with Stroll, but I haven't seen that yet. Neither. I think either 2 or 3 is fair, but he needs to stop getting pens. Yeah. Sup, Ballant on the stream. I just hope Liam doesn't break under this pressure from people. Yeah, I hope so as well. I mean, he's had a comfortable car, but he's got a very feisty teammate who's doing really well up against him. So I think this weekend would have been a great weekend to see Liam do well. I think he was generally quicker than Hadja in the race, but the fucking DRS issue in qualifying is just so unlucky. I remember hearing Crofty say something about Stroll and Lawson colliding, but I never saw it right. Oh, is this a clip? I won't be able to watch this on stream because it will get copyrighted while I'm live on TikTok and YouTube. So I'll just watch it off stream real quick. But someone's linked in chat. Oh. Wait, Liam got a pen for that? Wait. Actually, I will show it on stream. Liam got a pen for this? Wait. I only half looked at it. So Liam goes down the inside. Very aggressive move. Stroll goes for a switchback. Yeah, true. There, yeah, true. There, it feels like Liam's alongside. But then when you look at Stroll's trajectory... Yeah, Liam should have backed out here knowing like Stroll's already turned in. Yeah, that's fair. The fact that this is a 5-second and the other one's a 10 is crazy to me. I feel like that should be a 10-second. Whereas the other one was just like, oh, we accidentally touched side pods. Anyways, doesn't matter. But I'm glad we finally got to see it though. That's good. Anyways, let's move on from Liam now. I'm going to give him a 3. Again, I thought his race pace was good. We couldn't really see him in qualifying. Yeah, obviously a few too many incidents, which cost him, but he still finished ahead of Stroll. He still finished who we gave a 3 rating to. He still finished ahead of Bortoletto. And I think, again, he outraced his teammate, so it's hard to give him lower than a 3 when he did better than his teammate in terms of race pace, in my opinion. So, yeah. All right, we're going to move on, though. You guys are saying majority are giving him a 1. Fair enough. Okay. I will not mold. You guys, if you feel like a 1 rating is fair for that weekend, then cool. All right, moving on. Next driver. We have got Fernando Alonso. What do you rate Fernando Alonso's Bahrain Grand Prix? The poll is up in chat. Now, guys, if you are watching on YouTube or you're watching on TikTok, come over to the Twitch stream. The Twitch stream is where you can vote on the poll for what you rate the drivers. So yeah, be sure to tune in to the Twitch stream. And if you are already on Twitch, all you got to do is type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you want in the chat, and that will put the rating on the poll for you guys. Kiryusu, Agulek, welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you for the follows. He bumped Stroll off the track. I honestly think the Stroll pen is way too harsh for Liam, you reckon? He only got 5 seconds for the Stroll pen. I think that's fair for touching him. But I just don't know why there weren't other incidents for that got pens that race, to be honest. All right. Fernando Alonso, let's talk about it. So Fernando, in qualifying, he made it through to Q2, which is an awesome job. He outqualified Stroll by 0.6. And then he outqualified Ocon because Ocon shunted it into the wall. And then in the race, he dropped down to P15. He finished ahead of Liam, obviously, with the pens. And he finished 5 seconds ahead of Stroll. But he finished behind everyone else. I think that Aston Martin's in a really poor spot at the moment. I don't think you can blame Alonso for that. I think Stroll showed how good the car... Stroll showed what is capable with the car when the car's good. But the car was just not good this weekend. Both of them doing really, really bad. Is that Alonso's fault? I don't think so. At the end of the day, he outqualified his teammate by a lot. His race pace was pretty mid. I don't know. I'm thinking like a 5 or maybe like a 4.5 for Alonso. I think it's maybe a little bit below average. I would have liked to have seen him maybe do a little bit better in qualifying. But even Alonso said in qualifying, I'm happy with that lap, guys. That's the best I could have done. So I don't know. And then... in the race, I think he could have raced better. I think that was a really crazy race. He had the opportunity to kind of capitalize. But again, the car was just bad. He probably shouldn't have finished behind Hulkenberg. So, yeah, I don't think he should have finished behind Hulkenberg. Yeah, I was about to say that. I don't think he should have finished behind Hulkenberg. And maybe even Hadja with how bad Hadja did. But, yeah, I think it was... I don't know. I just feel like this is rating him too much based off of his car. Sorry, I think this is rating him too much off of Alonso's level and like forgetting that he's in an Aston that's not that good. But with how tight the grid is, I think I would have liked to have seen Alonso do better. I'd say 4.5. I'd say 4.5. What do you guys think though? Aston's nowhere. A lot of turn coming up this week. Yeah, Jeddah's going to be fucking sick. Now everyone rate Hadja a 10 and watch him crash out. The one voters all need Jesus. Poll active for 12 minutes. Help. How would you rate me? I don't know what you look like or how you drive, so I wouldn't be able to rate you. Is anyone else worried about how hard passing is this season, even on a passing track? I don't think Bahrain was that bad. I thought Bahrain was really good. I think it comes down to the tires. The tires were really good in Bahrain. It made for a really, really good race. All right. Not much more to really say about Alonso. I'm going to say 4.5. You guys have given him a 4 as well. So we will move on to our next driver. All right. Next up, we have got Jack Doohan. All right, poll is up for Jack. What do you rate Jack Doohan's Bahrain Grand Prix? Okay, so Jack, I thought actually had a good weekend for his standard. Obviously, we're not going to rate based off of his standard. We're going to rate based off of a normal driver's performance, right? You're going to take away the Jack. For anyone shooting into drive ratings for the first time, basically how you want to rate is you take away Jack Doohan's name. You take away their level of driving, and you just solely rate, all right, how do they do against their teammate? How do they do relative to where the car is, and how they do in the race? So in qualifying, I think he showed good pace. It's really unfortunate he didn't make it through to Q3. When I say unfortunate, I should say disappointing. He was 0.6 off of Gasly. He showed really good pace in Q1. He showed really good pace on his first banker lap. But then when it mattered, he couldn't make it through to Q3. He would have knocked out Yuki or Lewis as well if he did, but he didn't. So I think he's done okay to make Q2. But seeing how well Gasly did, I think he should have made Q3. So I'm going to say an average qualifying performance from Doohan. For his standards, it's good. But overall, I think it's average. Then, in the race, he ended up finishing in P14, just ahead of Fernando Alonso, behind Isaac Hadja. He got really cucked by the safety car. If I have a little skim through the race, prior to the pit stops, he was running on the edge of points. He managed to hold his position. Then he pit and he was in the points at one point. He was ahead of Yuki Tsunoda and it looked like he was going to beat Yuki Tsunoda and get a point. And then the safety car kind of came out, which kind of fucked him. And he ended up dropping. Wait, how did he go from 9th to 14th in one cut of the highlights? Yeah, he got fucked on the safety car, I think, which is unfortunate. I think overall, I think for Jack's standards, I'd rate him maybe like a 7, but I think overall, like 0.6 off your teammate, didn't make it to Q3 in the best of the rest car. That's disappointing. In the race, I think he held his own with his race pace. Maybe should have done a little bit better, but yeah, I'm gonna say like a 6.5. I'm gonna say 6.5. Maybe that's harsh. Maybe that's harsh, but I think, you know, some drivers managed to hang on with the safety car, but he didn't. So, yeah. Ah, wait, let me actually look. When the safety car came out, yeah, I was on like fresh tires behind, weren't they? Actually, he stayed out after the safety car. Yeah. I think you could have done a better job, but I think 6.5 is fair. I think 6.5 is fair. Yeah. He showed good pace, put it that way. Best weekend for him, yeah. Dylan was unlucky with the safety car because everyone got fresh tires after he just put, yeah. It need to be just be fair and remember he got screwed bad by the safety car, yeah. Running the points until safety car. Who was hurt by the safety car after they already pitted? Antonelli probably got the most fucked as well as Jack. I don't think he should finish behind. Wait, I read that. Dylan was quite good until the end. Yeah. All right, I'll go 6.5 for doing. You guys are also saying 6 on the poll. So, we'll end the poll there and move on. One sec. I just need to tidy up the poll website real quick. Is it Lacy Black pair with a little bow? The ones who out for me in Tokyo. Yo, what's your top 3 shapes of all time? Oh, my top 3 shapes of all time. Probably a square. You can't go wrong with a square. Like, you know, like everything's square. My mouse pad is square. You know, square is life. You know what I mean? And for that same reason, I'm gonna go oblong. I'm gonna go rectangle. Like again, it's just a stretched out square. Love a square. And then third favorite shape. Can't go wrong with a circle, man. Can't go wrong with a circle. Like, you know, just it's where it's at. It's where it's at. Lawson should be dropped in general. 2 teams, no points. 3 started well, but dropped way too far back. Alpine double stacked and Gazzy did not hold his place except for Max Doohan. Lost all those places, man, for 2 laps earlier. Pitting before the safety car. Fubblekas, Exatrum, Poke Girl Chloe. Thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, be sure to hit the follow button down below. We do driver ratings like this after every single Grand Prix weekend on a Monday. So be sure to tune on in next Monday for our Saudi Arabian Grand Prix driver ratings. All right, let's move on to our next driver. Next up, we have got Isaac Hedger. What do you guys rate Isaac Hedger's weekend? Get the votes in the Twitch chat. Type in chat what you rate him. Gazzy's rating, we haven't got up to Gazzy just yet, Saudi. All right. Isaac Hedger. I'm already getting pissed off. I'm already getting pissed off looking at the votes on the poll. All right, Isaac Hedger. He qualified P12 in qualifying. I think the V car was maybe capable of making Q3, but I'm not disappointed with this lap. He got out qualified by Jack Doohan, who was in a quicker car, but then again, I think with Doohan's standard, I would have liked to have seen Hedger beating Doohan. Other than that, you know, he missed out on Q3 because of signs. So I think Williams might have had a quicker car this weekend. And obviously Pierre Gasly had a quicker car. So I'm not disappointed in Hedger's qualifying. I just think it could have been better. He obviously outqualified Liam by 6/10, but Liam didn't have DRS. So I think that's like irrelevant. So it's kind of hard to judge how Hedger actually did in qualifying. Like I said for Liam, I really wish Liam didn't have that DRS issue because we could have genuinely compared these two and been like, oh, the car's not good. Or, oh, Hedger was actually not strong this weekend, because I personally think Hedger wasn't strong this weekend, but people are just going to look at Liam qualifying low because of his DRS and obviously the race just being all over the place and him starting low and being like, oh, well, Hedger did good, but I don't think Hedger did good. Like, look at where Hedger and VCarb have been the last few weeks. Yeah. And then moving on to the race, Hedger managed to finish P13, so he dropped 3 positions. But obviously moved up 2 because of... No, sorry, he dropped 1 position. He dropped 2 positions, but moved up 1 because of the signs DNF. At the end of the race... No, sorry, prior to the safety car... Where's the safety car? So I'm just skimming through the highlights right now. The fuck? The live timing's not even on the fucking highlights. When the safety car came out, Hadja was running down in P19. He lost, what, 5 positions off start? He lost a lot of positions off start. Him and Hadja, despite Liam qualifying P17 and Hadja being 5 positions up the road, Hadja and Liam were literally battling after a couple laps. Hadja ran behind Liam pretty much the whole race. And then I'm trying to figure out before the safety car. If I'm not mistaken, Hadja was one of the guys that benefited from the safety car, yet still didn't finish well. Okay, so he was in P16 after the safety car. And then, yeah, Liam got past Hadja. I can't tell. Is Hadja on fresh hards or used hards? I don't know, man. It's so hectic after the safety car. But yeah, Liam managed to get past Hadja. Was up in P13. Hadja was down in P16. I generally think Hadja lacked race pace this weekend. Yeah, I think Liam had better pace. It's just obviously the incidents people are going to look at too much. Yeah. I think for me, Hadja had a disappointing weekend. For relative to where that V-carb should be. At the end of the day, he didn't have any incidents. He made it through to Q2 in qualifying. And he finished the race in P13. He's been beaten by Albon, who started 3 positions behind him. He's been beaten by Behrman, who started 8 positions behind him. He's been beaten by Ocon, who started behind him, and he got outraced by his teammate. I think it was a poor weekend for Hadja, to be honest. I really think that was a poor weekend for Hadja. He boxed really early and came out last. So you talking about Hadja? All right, what are you guys rating? And then I'll make my decision. The RB wasn't that good on the circuit, and him being a rookie, this was a decent race. How do we know the Red Bull RB wasn't good when Liam was actually doing good in the car? He just didn't qualify well because of the DRS problem. And we're not rating based off a rookie, we're rating based off his performance. Good, but couldn't do anything with that car. How was Hadja good this weekend? Am I tripping? I have high standards for Hadja. He should have been in the points, but the tracks are different though. Yeah, I agree, but changing cars and or race engineers is harder than you would imagine. I do think, however, that Hadja is stronger than Liam overall. Right now, yes. I don't think he was this race. He boxed really early, came out last, switched to softs, not sure about Hadja, they double stop. Hadja finished 3 places in front of Lawson. I think he had a really good race and looked faster. Wait. Hadja finished 3 places ahead. He didn't. He finished 3 places behind Hadja. Sorry. Hadja finished 3 places behind Liam. Liam had pens, which again shows I think Hadja didn't have the pace. Behrman started last. She was poor for all the Red Bull cars. Liam could make overtakes without banging into people. 5 used to be poor performances. I don't know, man. I don't see how this was a good weekend for Hadja. I personally feel like there's too much. I feel like there's too much rookie bias coming into play for Hadja here, and I think people think because Liam was out of the picture in qualifying because of the DRS issue, I think people are looking at the V-carb and going, it wasn't good this weekend. I think Liam showed the V-carb was good. I think he showed good pace in that race, and I think Hadja lost 5 positions off the start. Like take Hadja's name out of it for a second, right? Take Hadja's name out of it. I'm gonna try persuade you guys, okay? Take Hadja's name out of the equation, right? A driver lost 5 positions off the race start. They got beaten by 3 drivers who started behind them. They got outrace paced by their teammates, and they finished P13 with a DNF, and they finished P13 with 2 drivers ahead of them getting a DNF and a penalty. I don't feel like that's a good weekend. And even in qualifying, and keep in mind, I think this was the second or third best of the rest car this week. I'd say it was like close to Williams. Did he really get outpaced by Liam though? Yes, because if you look at the race, they were racing each other at the start of the race. Hadja had such a bad start, he had to pit early off of his softs onto mediums. Wait, what? Wait, no, I don't even think he did. No, he did. He did. Yeah, it pit off the softs onto the mediums because at that point Liam was ahead of him after Hadja dropped 5 positions off the start, and then Liam pit and caught up to Hadja and overtook him. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because they were kind of like on different tires at different time. But I think the prime thing is here, Hadja fucked up the start, lost 5 positions, and that's what cooked his race. And he got beaten by 3 drivers who started behind him, including his teammate. Obviously, his teammate got pens in the end. I think the V-Cub was better than what people are thinking it was this weekend because of how Hadja did. I think people's expectations for Hadja are so high that they're going straight to blame the car rather than looking at what I think Hadja's pace was this weekend. I'm going to give Hadja a 4. I think, yeah, I don't think he's had a good weekend, personally. I think there's an argument to even do him lower, but I think relative to how Stroll, Bortoletto, and who's the other one? Alonso did. I don't think it would be fair to put Hadja lower. And then obviously Liam as well is lower because of his pens. But yeah. Fuck, man. I really wish Liam didn't get that DRS issue because I generally think if Liam didn't have this might be copium, but I think if Liam didn't have the DRS issue, we'd be sitting here going, wow, Liam outqualified Hadja and finished ahead of Hadja and outraced Hadja, and people would be talking more about how VCARB could have done better this weekend, but instead we're sitting here being like, oh, Hadja did his best in that car. His pace was slow, one of his worst GP weekends. Yeah, it's definitely his worst weekend so far this year. Well, other than fucking crashing and the formation lap in Australia. GL63, thank you for the follow. We're on the stream. Anyways, we'll move on from Hadja because I feel like we kind of disagree. Yeah, 100%. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. 100%. But Liam, it's not Liam's fault the DRS broke. It's not Liam's fault. After dry ratings, can you rate the race, please? Yeah, we already did that before. I'd give it a 7.5. I think there's a lot happening, but it's not a race I'd watch the highlights back of, and it's not a race I'd watch. It's a weird one. Like, I really enjoyed the race in the moment, but I don't really care enough to watch the highlights back, and I don't really care enough to watch the replay back, but it was really good at the moment, and I want more races like that in Formula 1. V-Cub determines Lawson's DRS to be a driver's mistake. Peter Bayer said on Germany. No. I think you misinterpret that, Artland Dragon. So Liam had wheel spin out of the first corner, which was Liam's fault, but he wouldn't have lost time from that. He wouldn't have lost enough time to not make Q2 from that. And because of that wheel spin, the car reacted, which it shouldn't do, and closed the DRS, which is a mechanical fault. It's not Liam's fault. Yes, Liam's fault is from the wheel spin, but that's like saying, oh, you used too much curb and your DRS closed. Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have used too much curb, but it's not Liam's fault that the DRS is closed. You can't blame a driver for their car malfunctioning because of something they did, unless it's like something bad they did. But wheel spin is normal. Like, if you watch Liam if you watch Max or Yuki's lap or even Lando's lap, like they have wheel spin as well. He couldn't redeploy the DRS again. It went to passive mode. Race pace. Oh, yeah, actually, I want to look at this real quick. But to be fair, does anyone know, before I open this, does anyone actually know how they come to the conclusion of the race pace F data analysis stuff? Because in Australia, they didn't put the race pace of Leclerc and Lewis because they didn't think it was representative. But then other races, they put the race pace because... But, like... How do you get the race pace when you're on different tires and stuff like that? Like the teams have this data, but how do random people at home get it? Not the night. Well, this is the most fucking annoying thing I've ever seen in my life. How do I know who's who? This is the most confusing thing I've ever seen. Who's who? Oh, wait. Where's V-Cub? Where's Hadja? Oh, I see. So according to this, Hadja was 0.07 quicker than Liam. What am I looking at? I'm so confused what I'm looking at. Like, where are they here? Are they yellow? A V-carb yellow? Oh yeah, V-carb are yellow. I'm so confused what I'm looking at, bro. Anyways, I really want to know how they get these race pace things because how they get this race pace data. Actually, to be fair, this is way better than the one that I've seen in the past where they fucking just go, this driver was 1 second slow. And it's like, how did you get that? How did you get that? Like this, you can see like Liam, I'm assuming the way I look at this, right, is Liam had quicker lap times than Hadja, but he also had slower lap times than Hadja. So Hadja was more consistent because his box is more condensed, whereas Liam was quicker, but he was also slower at some point. So then this does the average. I'm assuming that's what that means. Dotted line means the medium. So their medium was almost the same, but I don't know what that means. I'm not smart enough for that. Thanks for linking that though. Thanks for linking that. All right, when the poll there, we'll move on from Hadja. I'm giving Hadja a 4. You guys are giving Hadja a 5, an average weekend. I don't mind a 5. I don't mind a 5. I think, you know, we are going to disagree. I think because people love to hate on Liam and glaze Hadja at the moment and glaze Antonelli at the moment because they're rookies. But I don't mind 5. It's not as bad as I thought. But seeing some people vote for 7, that's wild to me. Saying Isaac Hadja had a good weekend, finishing P13, losing 5 positions off the start, being at least matched by his teammate on race pace. And then, I don't know how that's a 7, but we move. All right, moving on. Next up, we have got Alex Albon. All right, the poll is up for Albon. What do you vote? Vote on chat out of 10. Insane copium. He shouldn't have spun his wheels then. But like, not every qualifying lap's going to be perfect. Saying, oh, it's Liam's fault that his DRS closed because of his wheel spin. That's not a normal thing. That's not a normal thing. It's a malfunction. Yes, Liam shouldn't have wheel spun, 100%. But him wheel spinning should have only lost him 1/10, not 4/10 from the DRS closing. That's dumb. That's just a dumb point. That is a dumb point. I'm sorry. All right, moving on to Alex Albon. Alex Albon, why you always argue about Liam? 1, I'm a Liam fan. But 2, when it comes to Liam, when it comes to Kimi Antonelli, when it comes to any driver that is either overglazed or overhated, we're doing ratings, and people tend to bring their feelings way too much into it. So I'm always going to defend Liam, or I'm always going to criticize Antonelli more than most people. So that's why it probably feels like I'm always defending him because, well, I am. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the discussion at the end of the day. Anyways, moving on. Albon. So he qualified P15. He got out-qualified by 0.5 by Carlos Sainz. Sainz made it all the way through to Q3. Albon went out in Q1. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is Albon should have made Q2 because of the whole Hulkenberg situation and his lap not being deleted. You know, there is the argument where, well, he probably should have done a better lap in Q1 to make sure he was safe into Q2, but sometimes it just happens, you know, just like I was saying with Liam. Sometimes you do make those little mistakes on your lap, and it's still enough to make it through. But unfortunately, because of the Hulkenberg FIA situation, he wasn't able to make it through. But still, 6 cents off of his teammate, out in P15. Then in the race, he managed to move up the grid, finish in P12. His race pace looked pretty good. I think Sainz probably showed, I mean, if we have a look through the highlights, I'm just trying to have a look at where Albon was. So Albon made up 3 positions off the race start. Or at the start of the race. And then he was chilling kind of on the edge of points. He couldn't get past Doohan. And then he went very long on the softs. Forgot about that. And then the safety car came out. He's in P13. And then he just kind of got stuck behind Behrman. Interesting. He was on the mediums, though. Interesting. Albon was on the mediums, but he couldn't get past Behrman. Wow, Behrman had a banger, didn't he? Behrman had a banger. Anyways, Albon ended up finishing 1 second behind Antonelli and Behrman, just on the edge of points. And it's hard to compare him to Sainz when Sainz had the side pod damage. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to rate Albon. I don't know what to rate Albon. What do you guys think? Alex was a lot faster than Carlos. He was already 1 second behind Carlos before the Yuki incident. Okay, imagine if you have a job performance review with everyone in chat. Imagine if you have a job performance review with everyone in chat. Albono, who is? Was more like in this race. He was barely seen. Wait, what? Oh, you're saying Albon wasn't seen in this race. I see. Albon was nowhere this weekend. Williams should have retired Carlos immediately and not double stack, costing Alex 2 to 3 positions. Yeah, true. Sup, Piastri. Sup, King Pengu. Welcome to the stream. Quality was sloppy, but he did get unlucky with the FIA being consistent. Yeah, mid-average weekend. Amazing race. Race pace was okay. I feel like Williams could have been in the points with signs without floor damage. Yeah, definitely. King Pengu. Pengu. Planner Axis. Halo Boy. Tommy NBA. Thank you guys all for the follows. Welcome to the stream. Where was this criticism for Checo? Where was this defending for Checo? It was the... Albon. We're talking about Albon. We're not talking about Checo from 2 years ago. We're talking about Albon. Back to Albon. Alex has a better race pace than Carlos. Yeah, definitely at the moment. But it was kind of hard to tell because we didn't get to see signs in that second half of the race. Like, as soon as he got side pod damage, boom. He was just dropping. I don't know. I don't know what to rate Albon. I feel like it was like, I don't know. Should he have got points? I mean, maybe he should have beat Haas, but he's not going to be beating Gasly. That car was quicker. And all the other big boys are in the points. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to say a 5. I agree with you guys, actually. I'm going to say a 5. I think if it wasn't so stacked in the front of the field, as in like this, all 8, like the 8 top drivers at the front, I would say he should have got points. But, you know, I think it was more just they just lost out to Haas. I think it was just that. I think they just lost out to Haas. That's what cost them. So, you know, I don't really know what to rate Albon. He's probably the hardest to rate this weekend just because of his qualifying. Like, it's his fault, but it's not his fault. So, I'm going to say 5 and we'll move on. Majority of you guys saying 5 as well. So, nice. We agree. Woo! All right, moving on. Next up is Oh, no. Too early for that. Next up, we have got Kimi Antonelli. What do we rate Antonelli? This is going to be an interesting one because... I mean, actually, no, because I'm telling you right now, if this was any other driver, if this was Liam, or if this is any... Okay, whoa, okay. I was going to say, if this was any other driver, they would be like, no, finished outside the points in a Mercedes. Bad race. But Antonelli would be like, oh, poor Antonelli. You should have done so well. You did so well. Oh. So I'm curious. I was curious to see what you guys were going to rate, but... I think you guys are being harsher than me, to be honest. I think you guys are being harsher than what I'm going to be. That's surprising. I thought the Antonelli glaze was going to be really high. Like it has been all season. Okay, anyways. Yeah, like I'm guarantee you, if this was Liam, if you replace his name with Lawson and put Liam's head there, he would get a 4. But I'm not saying he should be a 4. I'm just saying that's what you guys would do because he's in a Mercedes. He should have finished in the points. Anyways, let's talk about it. So Kimi in qualifying got out qualified by Russell by 0.2. Now, I've said this every week. Your standard is your teammate. George Russell is a great driver. So comparing Antonelli to Russell, I think being 0.2 off your teammate as a rookie, being 0.2 off your teammate is fantastic. But we're not taking rookie into account. He's 0.2 off of Russell, which isn't bad, but it's not good either. He got out-qualified by Charles Leclerc as well, which I don't think should be happening with how strong that Mercedes is. But I don't think he's had a bad qualifying. I think P4 is fine. Obviously, he ended up getting demoted down to P5 because of the one good place drop. Then, in the race, I thought he had a really good race from what I remember, right? He did a lot of overtakes. A lot of good racing. No, he kind of got stuck behind Gasly at the start. And then he finally got past Gasly. No, wait. He pit. Wait, maybe I'm thinking Antonelli's race was better than what it was. He's stuck behind Gasly. How is he stuck behind Gasly? And then how has he ended up behind Ocon? How has he ended up behind Ocon? Then everyone pit and he's ended up behind Ocon. What the fuck? Okay, so all right, I've got a better mind now. So Antonelli, 2 tenths behind his teammate, doesn't sound bad, but it allowed Leclerc to start in front of him, and obviously the grid pen unfortunately meant Gasly started in front of him. He got stuck behind Gasly, which isn't bad, but I think considering where Russell was on the track, I think he should have done a little bit better. And then in the race, the undercut, not really his fault, more the team's fault for letting him get undercut. But again, he probably shouldn't have qualified there to get undercut by Ocon. Then after that, I think he showed good race pace. I think he showed some nice overtaking as well. Again, as a rookie, he's doing great. As just a standard driver, he's like as a normal, just looking at him normally, like he's doing okay. And then he got absolutely cucked by the safety car. It's not his fault at all. But he had the opportunity to redeem himself, and he got past Albon, I think, and that's it. He got past Albon, and then he was stuck on the entry points. Couldn't get a point. Couldn't get past Bamman. Couldn't get past Yuki, who was struggling in a Red Bull. Couldn't get past Ocon. Yeah, actually, I'm not going to lie. I thought I was going to give Antonelli a higher rating than this. Because in my mind, I thought he had a good weekend. Maybe I let all the Antonelli glaze on social media get to me. But now looking at it, like, he's done, for a rookie, he's done amazing, but just as a standard weekend, it's not amazing. And he's kind of, like, yes, he got fucked by the safety car, but he probably should have made up some positions in the Merc, and he probably shouldn't have, like, allowed Gasly to stay in front of him for so long to get undercut. I don't know. I don't know what to rate him. Let me see what you guys have to say. Strategy problem, fucked by his team. Probably get a top 5 if the safety car didn't screw him over. Would he got a top 5 though? Because he was stuck behind Gasly. Would he have been in Gasly? I don't know about that. Oh, actually, no, he got past Gasly, didn't he? Yeah, but then he got undercut. Wait, no, he would have got a top 5. I don't think. Yeah, he was behind Gasly and Ocon. He's behind Gasly and Ocon after the pits, before the safety car. I don't think he would have been. I don't know if he would have finished P5, to be honest. There were some very good overtakes from him, but the safety car and the strategy messed him up. How's the delays so high before, and now he was close to Russell? The delays is gone. Make it make sense. He couldn't pass the midfield cars up the safety car. Fucked by the strap, but should have gotten points still, in my opinion. Russell comparison this week is weird because, in my opinion, Russell gets to 10. Antonelli worse, but how bad was it if your teammate was perfect? Yeah, true. Exactly. That's a great point. Soft bed, soft R strategy. He was stuck behind Ocon until he got on the tire advantage on Ocon. He drove a good race and got completely screwed by the team strategy. 6.5 would be the perfect grade, but I'd rather say 6 than 7. He would have needed a 4th stop anyway with how early he pitted. Oh, I forgot about that. The soft strategy. Yeah, great racing, but maybe destroyed his tires. But yeah. Did he have an above average week? Yeah, I think he had above average. You know what? Yeah. I think he had above average weekend. I think 6 is fair. When you look at it like that, it was an above average weekend. I think in qualifying, he should have done better. I think he should have been in Leclerc. I think he should have been closer to Russell. As a rookie, I don't think that. But just taking the rookie bias out of it, it would have not been nice to see him closer. And Gasly was right on his ass in qualifying. But he did out-qualify Lando. He did out-qualify Max, you know. He did out-qualify Lewis. So he's done a good job. And then in the race, I think his race pace could have been a little bit better. I think he should have gotten past Gasly off the start, but it's unfortunate he got the 1-place grid demotion, so that shouldn't even happen in the first place. I think his pace could have been a little bit better to have not been undercut by Ocon, but then again, the team should have reacted better, and then he got fucked by the safety car. I think he's had above average weekend, but I don't want to sit here and say it was anything insane because I don't think it was. So yeah, I didn't watch the race, so I'm not commenting on that or voting. But what was his but his qualifying was really good to me. That's what I mean. As a rookie, to be 2 tenths off of your teammate, out qualifying all those big names is amazing. But still, the Mercedes look really quick this weekend, and he was 2 tenths off of Russell and got out qualified by Leclerc. Like, I don't think that's like good in that sense, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's just me being harsh in the sense of like, I don't give the rookies any like benefit, if that makes sense. Why should he be out qualified Leclerc? Because I think the Mercedes were better than Ferrari. Piastri, thank you for the follow. His individual performance was good, and considering he's a rookie too, but ultimately his strategy messed him up. Alpine returning to form. I hope so, man. I hope so. I'd love to see another team kind of up there with V-Carb and Williams fighting for points. If the F1 fantasy statistics are correct, Antonelli and Behrman have the most overtakes of all drivers this season. Interesting. I mean, he got screwed by Mercedes strategy and safety cars. Qualifying was good, and he did some good moves, but his results are good enough. Leclerc looked good on one lap pace all weekend. Yeah. He looked up on Russell. He looked up on Russell in Q1 and Q2. Ferrari generally looks good in Bahrain, as far as I know. To be honest, I think they were quick. America's way more stronger. Yeah, I think it just depends. I think ratings are definitely getting easier as the season's going on, but we're still in that spot of like we don't know the pecking order. So like, whilst I think Antonelli should have outqualified Leclerc, some of you in chat might think, oh, well, Leclerc should be outqualifying Antonelli. Anyways, enough talk about Antonelli. When the poll there, majority of you guys saying a 7. I personally think that's too high, but each their own. I get it. I think as a rookie, a 7's definitely a 7, but I don't do that personally. So, yeah, let's move on. Next driver. As we move to the top 10, we have got Ollie Behrman. All right, the poll is up for Behrman. Guys, if you're just tuning in the stream, welcome in. We are doing driver ratings for the Bahrain Grand Prix. If it's your first time here, every single Grand Prix weekend, every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we hop on the stream, we do our driver ratings. So if you're enjoying it so far, be sure to hit the follow button down below. If you're over on YouTube or TikTok, come over to the Twitch stream. That is where you can type in chat to vote on the poll. If you're in TikTok chat or YouTube chat, it will not count. It only counts on the Twitch stream. So come on over to Twitch to get your votes in. But yeah, let's talk about Behrman. Actually, before we get into Behrman, I'll be back in 1 second. Get your votes in. All right. I'm back. Let's talk about the bear. Steve, thank you for the follow, dude. We're on the stream. All right. Let's talk about Ollie Behrman. So, Ollie in qualifying went out in last. He got out qualified by Lance Stroll, Bortoletto, Liam Lawson, Hulkenberg. All these drivers that we rated low. Ocon made it through to Q2. He out qualified Behrman by 8 tenths. Does anyone know what happened to Behrman on his lap? Why was he 20th? Was that his pace? Excuse me, or did he make a mistake? Because that seems really bad. Obviously, Ocon, we weren't able to see the full potential of the Haas car because Ocon crashed in Q2. So, honestly, I think Haas could have done even better than what they did if it wasn't for their shit qualifyings. But they pulled it back in the race. He made a mistake. Okay, so mistake in qualifying to go out and last is quite bad, if we're being real. But in the race, he redeemed himself, moving from P20 up to P10. I believe he had a really awesome race start. Let me have a look at the start of the race. Yeah, so he's moved up 7 positions just around the first pit stops, which is awesome. His race pace was looking really, really good. And then he's on the edge of points. And then after the pit stop, he didn't even get undercut. After the pit stop, he's moved on to the hards and he's in P13. So yeah, he's had amazing race pace this race. I think Ocon showed that the Haas was strong. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, what a generational drive from Behrman, because I do think the Haas was actually pretty strong. But in the end, he finished 3 seconds off of his teammate. He started 6 positions below him. So I think that's pretty good. I would have loved to have seen Behrman beat Yuki, considering Ocon was able to beat Yuki. But at the same time, I don't expect that. It was more just relative to where Ocon finished. Yeah, I think Behrman's had a really good race, but I think it's one of those things. Just because you made up 10 positions and finished where you should be, shouldn't inflate your rating. Like, you shouldn't have qualified there in the first place. Like, I'm going to rate you based off of where you finished, if that makes sense. Like, he showed that he had great race pace. He showed that he was able to get points with a car that I think was capable of getting points because they both finished in the points. But, like, he did finish dead last in qualifying. Like, that's really bad. And, like, he wouldn't have made up 10 positions if he actually had a qualified good anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna say an 8. I'm gonna say an 8. I think he had a great weekend. I think he finished exactly where he should in that Haas. I think he finished exactly where he should in that Haas. If the Haas had have been worse than Williams and Alpine this weekend, well, I guess it was worse than Alpine. If it had been worse than Williams and VCarb this weekend, and he went from 20th to 10th, 100% he deserves a 9 or even higher. But yeah. Actually, I might even go 7.5. Because he got out-qualified by 6 tenths by his teammate. Ocon should have qualified higher, and we'll get to Ocon in a second. Ocon should have qualified higher, so he definitely should have qualified higher. And, like, he was able to recover to P10, but honestly, I think they should have. Genuinely, I think he should have finished P9, and then obviously he should have finished ahead of Ocon as well. I'm just trying to save room for rating for an Ocon here. Alpine definitely looked quick. Not to mention, Ollie did get lucky a little bit with the safety car, because Antonelli and I think was it Albon as well wouldn't have got unlucky with the safety car. So I'm gonna say 7.5. Very good weekend for Behrman. As a rookie, I'd rate him higher, but just looking at him stand as a driver, good weekend. But yeah, he could tidy it up a little bit. I think there's room for improvement, but still. Agreed. If you rate people based on their recovery from qualifying, then Perez would be getting 10s in 2023. Exactly. Being a rookie is all about learning. 100%. But again, we're not rating based off of rookies here. Haas and Cadillac could be proper rivals in 3 to 5 years. That would be cool. I think Behrman is being a bit overrated this weekend. He was net 20 seconds behind Ocon and would have finished outside the points until the safety car saved his weekend. Yeah, his race was great on paper, but it was mainly the safety car. No, I completely agree, Sparky. I completely agree. That's a good take. Subson Racer, on the stream. Sup, Steve. 10 for a race, but poor qualities, so 8 or 9. 7 for Kimmy, while giving 8 Ollie is wild. It's a clear 9. Getting in the points for Haas makes it a 9 for me. Yeah, but the car should have been getting points. The car should have been qualifying in the points and finishing in the points, in my opinion. Yeah. It's wild that you gave Kimmy a 7. I'm dying here. Wait, what? How did, wait, you're saying I should rate? Yeah, true. Actually, no, you are right. I'm thinking I gave Kimmy a 7. But Kimmy got stuck behind these guys. That's the way you got to look at it, right? This is the way I see it. Antonelli should have done better in qualifying, but he didn't do as bad as Behrman. But Antonelli got stuck behind Behrman. So you got to give props to Behrman for defending a Mercedes. You got to give props to Behrman for defending a Mercedes. Behrman definitely shouldn't have started there. Maybe I'll go... If I gave Behrman the same rating as Antonelli, would that make more sense? Race counts more than qualifying. True. Because Antonelli, the thing is, Antonelli got stuck behind. This is the way I see it. Antonelli was quicker, has a quicker car than Ocon and Gasly, yet he got stuck behind both of them. Behrman has a slower car than Antonelli and beat him. So yeah, I'm happy with a 7.5, to be honest. Ollie had a shit quali and had lucky safety car timing. He didn't have lucky safety car timing. I've just looked, and he was behind Sonoda. But sorry, where are we? I was just looking at it before. Where's it gone? Doohan got unlucky with the safety car. We can say that. Yeah, no, you're right. And then Signs DNF'd. I'm moving it down to a 7. I'm moving it down to a 7. You're right. You're right. I forgot about Signs DNF as well. If it wasn't for the Signs DNF. I'm going 7. I'm going 7. I had only passed Gasly in the first stint, then was undercut because the team kept him out too long. He wasn't stuck behind Ocon. He was stuck behind Verstappen. Who's the bottom 2 teams in your opinion? At the moment, Aston and Sauber. Right now. At least that weekend, yeah. I'm going 7. I'm going 7 for Behrman. All right. We'll end the poll there for you guys. Majority of you guys saying 8. Yeah, I think that's too high personally, but I get where you guys are coming from, but too high personally for me. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next driver. Next up, we have got Yuki Tsunoda. It's going to be an interesting one. What do you guys rate Yuki Tsunoda's weekend? Ponden? What's Ponden? All right, Yuki Tsunoda. Let's talk about it. So Yuki Tsunoda qualified P10. He was 1 second off of Max. Not sure what happened there on that final lap, but I think what we saw in Q1 and Q2 was that Max was difficult with the car. Max was difficult with the car, but Max was struggling with the car is what I was about to say. But Yuki kind of showed that like he was struggling, but he wasn't struggling as much as like Liam or Perez would in a car when Max was struggling a lot. But still, he's 1 second off of Max in Q1. He got out-qualified by Lewis, who I think had a very poor qualifying. He got out-qualified by Sainz, and he got out-qualified by Gasly. I think it's a poor qualifying. Yes, we got to give props where props is due. He made it through to Q3. We haven't seen that in a while on a Red Bull. But I still think Q3 is the expectation for Red Bull, and being 1 second off your teammate isn't great. But again, you know, if we're rating based off of recent form for a second Red Bull driver, he's had a good weekend, 100%. But we're rating solely off of a driver here, and 1 second off your teammate in a car that should be making Q3 is not great. Anyways, then in the race, he's managed to finish P9. He's gotten 1 place on Sainz, who DNF'd. He got stuck behind Ocon, and he couldn't catch up or pass Pierre Gasly. He's finished 10 seconds off of Max, but then again, we've had a late safety car, so I don't think that's really a good sign. Yuki was lost out to Doohan at one point in the race. He was behind Doohan. Obviously, Doohan was in an Alpine, but still, I think it goes to show again that Tsunoda was struggling. Yeah. Just having a skim through the highlights just to have a look. Yeah, Doohan actually overtook Tsunoda on track. And then Yuki also made that mistake, ruining Sainz's race. In my opinion, I think that should have been a pen. Also giving himself a little bit of floor damage as well, but nothing too crazy. And then after the safety car, he was P11 behind Sainz. Sainz obviously dropped. Yeah, then Tsunoda got past Doohan. And he just couldn't get past Ocon. Yeah, he was stuck behind Ocon, who was going 8 seconds slower on... Yuki was on soft tires, and Ocon was on hards. And he couldn't get past him. I think relative to where that Red Bull was, I think he's done well to get 2 points. I think performance-wise, obviously you need to be close to the Max you need to be close to the Max. You need to be close to your teammate. I think if Max is finishing P6, I think you should be finishing a position or 2 behind. I'm not saying that should be the expectation for Yuki right now, but I'm just saying in terms of driver ratings. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Considering the Red Bull was pretty poo this weekend, maybe I'd say a 5. I don't know. Oh my God. What am I looking at on the poll? An 8. An 8. How are you questioning my 5? What? The safety car hurt him and he fought back. Where did the safety car hurt him? Am I tripping? He's on medium. Wait. He's on mediums behind Doohan. He was, to be fair, he's really close to Max there. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's kind of confusing because of his collision with signs. 7 or 8 surely. No, but wait. You're saying finishing P9 in a top team. You're saying finishing P9 in a top team is a 8 out of 10. Yuki had a better weekend than Ollie Behrman and Kimi Antonelli. What did Liam do? We're not talking about fucking Liam, bro. We're not talking about Liam. You need to take things into account sometimes. You talking to me? But you can't look at Red Bull. You can't. No, I'm not saying Red Bull is top 2 team on the grid at the moment. They're obviously not going to be competing with Mercedes and Ferrari. But in what world is finishing P9 in a Red Bull an 8 out of 10? When Perez finishes P9 in a Red Bull, it was 3 out of 10, bad rating because the car is shit. But Max managed to get a P6. I personally don't think you can look at where you think Red Bull should be. Sorry. I don't think you should look at where you think a second Red Bull driver should be and rate based off of that. Like, I don't think you should go, ooh, second Red Bull driver should be finishing P9. Ooh, he finished P9. That's out of 10. No, you should be looking at where their teammate is and where the Red Bull should be and basing it based off of that. And I think Max finished P6 and Yuki was 1 second off in qualifying. And 3 positions lower in the race. I don't think Yuki's been affected by the safety car unless I'm tripping. He hadn't pit yet, so if anything, he's been saved by the safety car. Not saved by the safety car. He hadn't even pit yet when the safety car came out, so he gets a free pit stop. Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he would have been... He's finished P9. Wait. He's finished P9 and signs his DNF from the race, which he caused. And Antonelli got cucked by the safety car. He would have lost. I think he genuinely would have lost to Doohan and Antonelli if it wasn't for the safety car. So I think he got saved by the safety car. Where has Tsunoda been cucked by the safety car? Has the whole fucking grid lost out to the safety car then? He got delayed in the pits. I did forget about that, to be fair. I did forget about that. But so did Max. Anyways, let me read what you guys are saying. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I just think it's the typical... I generally just think it's the typical hate on Liam, hate on Perez. Now that Yuki's in the car, it's like, aww, he finished P9. Let's baby him. Let's give him a good rating. But, like, it's still not great. It's still not great. He's 100% doing better than Liam. He's 100% doing better than Perez. I'm not denying that. But it's still an average weekend overall for what you should be doing in a Red Bull. Max was also stuck behind Ocon for 10 laps. Haas was just as quick as Red Bull this weekend. Yeah, no, Haas was good. He did his last stint on the old softs though. Bro, take a breath. 5 is savage. Bias as fuck. How is this bias as fuck? What does that mean? How is this bias as fuck? How are we doing 8, Lamel? Yeah, I actually can't believe look how polarizing this is though. We've got people voting 9. We've got people voting 4, voting 5. I can't believe the majority is 8. That blows my mind. Saying Yuki had a better weekend than Antonelli and Behrman is wild. We had a similar discussion last race, and you agreed that we can't compare Yuki to Max. He had the red light. He had the red light issue with the pit stop. Yeah, true. 5. Who's getting an 8? Also, he was ahead of Sainz before his DNF. He was ahead of Sainz. Yeah, he was ahead of a Williams. He was really close to Max for most of the race. How is that a bad performance? No, I do agree. I think he was pretty close to Max this weekend. To be fair, no, I do. If I was going to up Yuki's rating, it's the fact he was close to Max. But should we be giving props to a driver for being close to Max, or should that just be the standard? You know what I mean? He's beefing Haas. The Beige Raiders. Rebel was unironically worse than Alpine this weekend. Rebel was so shit. You were going to give Liam a 5. What the fuck, Matt? Max didn't get Gasly. Rebel aren't a top team right now. Rebel is not a top team right now. Why is Yuki always compared to Liam? Yuki was out of the race. Yuki was out of the race. Out of the points for a good amount of the race. He had a shit stop and lost positions because of it. Yeah, but then he got saved by the safety car. Stop comparing Yuki to Liam. Yuki is way better. Context is important. He was close to Verstappen first. Rebel is not a top team this weekend. Max couldn't get past Ocon. Yuki lost a position to a pit stop light problem. I forgot about that. Rebel should be finishing 7th to 8th place, so 9th is not bad considering his used tires. Yeah, true. The car is shit, and he's been on he's been the only one to actually score. I mean, with the only one to actually score. What do you mean the only one to actually score? Max has scored points. What does that even mean? The only one to score. We had a similar discussion. If you're Christian Horner, what do you rate Yuki's performance? But we're not rating Yuki's performance as a Red Bull team member going, okay, well done, Yuki. You got points for us. No, we're rating it based off of every other driver on the grid, rating their performance. Based on the potential Red Bull pace, he was behind, so it should be lower than 8. Max is a generational driver who could get points with a Bobby car. It's unfair because Max is a much harder teammate to beat, and that Red Bull is a much harder car to drive. The Haas is a much weaker car than Red Bull, so with Chat's 8 for Sonoda, then Behrman should get a 10. People are comparing his performance to Liam's performance. Yeah, exactly. Why are we not looking at the gap to Max when he was generally close in race pace, which hasn't happened in ages? He will also get the car into a better position. You can't give him an 8. What happens when he gets a P4? Yeah, I remember when Yuki beefed with genuine midfield teams this race. He was beefing with Behrman. I think the reason why people rate him high is because of the car. If you just rate him normally, then he does not deserve an 8. Exactly, I agree. You said these ratings are based on car and comparison to their teammate. Yeah, and I think the Red Bull this weekend should have been... With Antonelli not finishing in the points, I think the Red Bull should have been P6 where it was. I mean, and Lewis got lucky with the safety car. I think Max would have finished ahead of Lewis as well if it wasn't for that. And Tsunoda's down in P9. I don't know. He did better than a 2 out of 10 Lawson weekend. Let's give him an 8. Yeah, you can't look at... Why are we looking at Liam's performance in a Red Bull? And why are we comparing Yuki's Bahrain Grand Prix to a Liam China weekend? That makes no sense. We're comparing Yuki to where the Red Bull was, where Max is, and where he should have finished in this race. And I don't think he should have been finishing P9 behind Ocon and Gasly. I don't mind it. Again, what is this fucking song? You're pissing me off now. What is this song? Thank fuck for that. Skip that shit. Holy fuck. I was just getting screamed at in my ears by ASAP Ferg. Lewis was already ahead of Max, though. Lewis had already passed and got Max well before the safety car. And Ocon on a better tire in the end. Max struggled a lot with Ocon as well. Remember that. Next fucking drive before I fuck smash the door. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, right? It's so funny. We've had this exact same debate with Liam in Australia, Liam in China, Yuki in Japan, and now we're having the exact same conversation in Bahrain. And I think this same conversation is going to go on for the rest of the year. We had the exact same thing with Perez last year. For people who weren't here for driver ratings last year with Perez, the same thing happened where Perez would make up 10 positions in the race, and some people would give him an 8 out of 10. And it's like, but should he have been qualifying there? And should he be finishing there in the first place? No. And then some people would rate Liam or Perez way too harsh. And like, he's dog shit. He should be doing way better. And it's like, but you got to remember, the car's hard to drive. And they should be finishing where they should be. What they're doing is okay relative to the car. It's not great, but it's okay. And that's kind of where I feel with Yuki at the moment, where I feel like I'm in the middle, where I'm like, he's done amazing. I think he's how he's comparing to Max at the moment is really good. He's showing that he's adapting to that car well, despite it being hard to drive. But I also am on the other side of things of, well, you're still behind your teammate. You're still getting beaten by a Haas. You're still getting beaten by an Alpine. You're still qualifying 1 second off your teammate. So yeah, I'm giving him a 6. I'm giving him a 6. I don't think you can sit here and say Yuki had a good weekend. When he got saved a little bit by the safety car. He had one driver in front of him two drivers in front of him get fucked by a safety car, doing an Antonelli. And then he had a driver in front of him retire, which he caused. Like, are we forgetting that? Are we forgetting he caused the driver to retire, which gave him a place? Are we forgetting Doohan and Antonelli got cucked by a safety car? I'm going at low is 7 in my book opinion. That 1 second was clearly a mistake. 2/10 off Max in Q2. No, I mean, that's a good point, but he still made the mistake. So, you know, you rate Behrman for his mistake in qualifying. You rate other drivers for the mistake in qualifying. That was as much on Sainz as it was on Yuki, you reckon? I disagree personally. I generally feel like that was Yuki's fault. He got on the power too early and he spun off into Sainz. I'm surprised he get a pen for it. I see why it's a racing incident, but yeah, personally I feel like if you make a mistake and give someone damage, regardless of if it was accidental or not, you should still get a pen for it. Max is making that car look decent, which is crazy. If we rate Max high because he gets good scores out of that monster of a car, we should be doing the same for Yuki. I agree, but I think the reason why he got a good result this weekend was because of the safety car. So, in my opinion, Sainz caused himself to retire. If Yuki caused the damage, he would have gotten a penalty. Well, let's just say you agree with everything the FIA did. He needed a penalty. Actually, Sainz slows down more than any other lap to force him back to L1. All right. Good convo. Thomas, leave with the follow. Good convo. I think we're going to have this conversation every week. I'll see you guys next week for our next discussion about Yuki and the Red Bull, because it's going to keep happening. You see it every week. We saw it with Liam. We saw it with Yuki now. The spread on the poll is absolutely insane. So when the poll there, majority of you guys saying an 8. An 8 rating for a driver who finished P9 and was getting outraced by Doohan at one point in the race. But you guys, you know, we'll have the same discussion next week. See you guys there. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 8. I'm gonna say a 6. Because that's what I feel like based off of how I do my ratings. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But saying I'm doing it because I hate Yuki or... You know what I mean? Like, I rate Liam and Hadja. And then I had people being like, oh, where was this energy for Perez? And then I rate Yuki harshly. And it's like, oh, you're such a Liam Glazer. Or you're such a... Blah, blah. And it's just like, what am I then? Am I a Perez hater? Or am I being fair and being consistent with Perez and Yuki? Yuki had a good quali, but mistake-ridden race. At one point, Ocon was outracing Max too. Yeah, true. There was absolute trash this season coming from an initial Liam supporter. What does that even mean? Was being outraced by X at some point. I think what it means is that if it wasn't for the safety car fucking over Doohan, he would have finished ahead of Yuki. So that's what I meant by that. Is at one point, Doohan was outracing Sonoda, but unfortunately, the safety car ruined that for Doohan. All right, we'll move on. Okay. Next up, we have got Esteban Ocon. Interesting one to talk about as well. Similar to Behrman of like, you know, similar one to Behrman where it's like, well, his qualifying was bad, but he kind of finished where he should have. So is that a great weekend or is that just kind of like finishing where you should have, you know? Anyways, let's talk about it though. But Sim Racer, Manny, thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the stream. Choose me. He's an easy lover. All right, let's have a look at Esteban Ocon. So Ocon in qualifying, Ocon qualified P14. Remember, he had a huge crash in qualifying. He outqualified Behrman by 0.8 in Q1. I said about Behrman, and I'm saying it again about Ocon. I think that Haas should have made Q3. And I think the fact that Behrman went out in P20, and I think the fact that Ocon went out in P14, specifically crashing, I think is quite poor. And I don't think they should have been qualifying there. In the race, but obviously, he made up for that, and he finished in P8. But I think P8 is where he should have qualified and where he should have finished. So do we sit here and go, oh, he made up 6 positions and finished P8. That's insane race, 9 out of 10. Or do we go, he finished where he should have. He's done a great job. 7, 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? And that's what I said about Behrman. I'm going to say about Ocon. The difference with Ocon, though, is he was actually in the mix. Like, he was at one point, you know, out racing Max, which was really cool to see. But he never really got on the back of Gasly, and he finished ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So I think Ocon's done a really, really good job. But again, I think with where the Haas was, I think it should have been probably around here. I didn't expect him, obviously, you wouldn't expect it to finish in front of a Red Bull. But with how the second Red Bull seat has been at the minute, I think it's expected for him to finish P8. So, yeah, I think Ocon's had a good weekend overall. I'm not going to say it was a standout. I think a standout would be like beating Gasly or qualifying really, really well. What do we give Behrman? What do we give Behrman? Did I give Behrman a 7.5 or an 8? I can't remember now. I think I gave Behrman a 7.5, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give Ocon an 8. I think there's an argument even for an 8.5. I think there's an argument for an 8.5, but I think with Antonelli and Doohan getting fucked over by the safety car, we don't really get to see how the end of the race would have naturally played out. Because obviously they went for the undercut, but the undercut would have been, those tires would have been worse at the end of the race because of the undercut. And yeah, I just think for me, he's finished exactly where he should be. And he's had a good weekend, a great weekend. But it's not a perfect weekend because he crashed in qualifying. And I think making up the 6 positions in the race isn't as good as what it would be if, yeah, he should have finished there, and he did. So, good weekend. Great weekend for Ocon. I'm giving an 8. I'm just trying to justify for anyone wondering, like, why haven't you given him a higher than 8? He made up 6 positions. He finished 8th in a Haas, but I feel like that's where he should have been. I feel like that's where he should have been. Ocon's race was ruined by the safety car. He was 1.5 seconds ahead of Max and Antonelli and would have to pit again. Wait, Ocon's race was ruined by the safety car, you reckon? Behrman would have finished 20 seconds behind Ocon until the safety car. And again, you cannot rate Behrman ahead or as the same because he got out-qualified and got beaten by Ocon. Wait, Ocon's race was ruined by the safety car? Am I tripping? I feel like because he went for the undercut, he was somewhat saved by the safety car because it meant he didn't have to push as much on his tires that were more used than the others around him. Sup, Divinai, welcome to the stream. Taking away 1 for the crash. Yeah, the crash is bad. You know, we're rating a performance. We're not rating a result here. Crashing and qualifying like that is bad. And qualifying P14 in a car that should have made Q3 is bad. I can't, to be honest, the fact that we're giving... Yeah, no, I think 8. Yeah. The fact... I don't know, it just feels so weird to completely total your car in qualifying and still get an 8. You know what I mean? Williams perhaps is better than Haas too. The Haas expectation just because of the 2 good results is crazy. I'm not looking at the results though, Manny. I'm looking at the on-track race pace. You know? I mean, you said it yourself before. It was quicker than a Red Bull. So I don't think we can sit here and say the Williams and the V-Carb and the Haas are better than Red Bull. I think that's ridiculous. Ocon literally benefited. No, he was ahead of everyone else. Was by a decent bit until the safety car. Ocon benefited. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. I thought he benefited from it. Yeah. All right, I'm giving Ocon an 8. We'll move on. Great weekend from Ocon. Not as good as I think some people will say just because obviously the crash in qualifying, but very solid. Very solid. We're in the poll there. Majority of you guys are saying an 8 rating. We agree. Woo! It's so good to agree after a big debate on a driver. All right, we move on now to P7. In P7, we have got Pierre Gasly. All right, poll is up for Gasly. What do you rate Pierre Gasly? Oh, my back. Oh, crack that back. I just spat on my mouse pad. Pierre Gasly, man. What a weekend. In qualifying, best of the rest, P5. Not just best of the rest. 2/10 off of George Russell. 3 milliseconds off of Kimi Antonelli. Out-qualifying Lando Norris. Out-qualifying Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda. He out-qualified his teammate by 6/10 in Q2. Honestly, that's a 10 out of 10 qualifying for me. Part of me wants to sit here and be like, maybe he should have got maybe it would be a 10 if he beats Antonelli, but I don't think it should be an expectation. An expectation to beat a Mercedes in an Alpine. I think he's had a fantastic qualifying. Then in the race, he's done amazing. He's held his own. He even held off Max Verstappen for a while. He held off, was it Kimi Antonelli? Yeah, he held off Antonelli and Max Verstappen for a very, very long time. Antonelli managed to get past. I think Antonelli probably would have beat him if it wasn't for the safety car. It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, no, I think he would have, he would have lost out to Antonelli if it wasn't for the safety car. But he would have beat Hamilton. He would have beaten Hamilton. So, yes, he lost a position. Yes, he gained a position from Antonelli, but he lost a position to Hamilton. Honestly, I think Gasly's had a phenomenal weekend. I'm trying to look and think what could have Antonelli done differently to not have gotten a 10 here. So, what is your guys' thoughts? What is your guys' thoughts before I rate? 99999. 7. Solid race, just consistent and stayed about the same place. Would have been a 10 if he beat Max. Okay. How good was he? Best weekend. Goofy bowl cut haircut. Yeah. Got to save 10s for podiums. No, but you got to rate. You can't just because a driver doesn't get a podium doesn't mean they aren't a 10. What could have Gasly done here to not gotten a 10? What could have he done better to have gotten a 10? Because I'm looking at this and thinking like, yeah. I get you. I see, as crazy as this sounds, he could have beaten Max Verstappen. He could have been a Max Verstappen / Antonelli on track, but Antonelli got cut by the safety car. He got unlucky with Hamilton getting the safety car. Do not lose positions. But he lost positions to Lewis, who benefited from a safety car, and Max Verstappen. Slight drop off in the stint. P4 or P5 equals 10 for Gasly. I get you. The safety car probably cost him to Max. Still impressive. Alpine at P7 in pace. In P7 on pace, yeah. Again, it should have been higher if it wasn't for Lewis getting the safety car. Look, I think Gasly's had a phenomenal weekend relative to his teammate, relative to the guys around him. I'm going to give him a 9.5, honestly. I think the only thing he could have done better was beat Max Verstappen. I don't think he should be expected to beat Antonelli or Max, to be honest. I think the argument about Max is Max was driving a shitbox, and he probably should have beat Max, but at the end of the day, it's Max Verstappen. So I'm going to go with 9.5. I think, again, 10 to beat Max. Anyone saying, oh, you got to save 10s for podium sitters or stuff like that. But, like, he's maximized that car this week, and he's done exactly what he should. 9.5 and losing 2 places. But he's lost a place to Lewis Hamilton, who he would have beat Lewis Hamilton. The only reason he lost the place was because of the safety car. And Max Verstappen. Reasonable placing. Ferrari looked good in the race. Why should Gasly be able to keep Hamilton behind? Exactly. I don't think he could have held Max. I mean, he could have, but he didn't. Hence why I've knocked 0.5 off. Surely the Alpine was well out of place on the grid. The result doesn't quite show up, but it's hard to think he could have performed any better than he did. He wasn't going to be faster than anyone else in front of him, yeah. Max's shitbox is still a top 4 car, and Max is very capable of overtaking. Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't really knock Gasly down for Max beating him, to be honest. You're right. Alpine can't podiums these days. Too tight at the top. Yeah. I would say 9.5. I think he's had almost a perfect weekend. I think just a little bit better pace against Antonelli/Max. Could have got him a 10. But other than that, you know, like, it was one of those races where I feel like if he was in a competitive car at the front, he would have been up there. Like, his pace was fucking amazing this weekend. His qualifying pace was so good. His qualifying pace was so, so good. All right. You guys have given him a 9 as well on the poll. Very nice. Very nice. All right, we move on. Next up, we have got Max Verstappen. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one. Similar to Yuki, I think this is going to be a very, like, spread out poll. I think it's going to be a very, very spread out poll. So let's see what you guys vote. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Oh! Okay. Okay. Who voted 10? Japan performance, man. Did you not see? All right, let's talk about it. Max Verstappen in Bahrain. So in qualifying, he qualified P7. That car looked really, really difficult to drive. I think, again, the fact that he's made Q3 the fact that he's that high up in Q3, I think is just a testament to Max. At the same time, you know, I think Lando has had a poor qualifying, and then you've got Gasly there, and I feel like maybe he could have been closer to them, but I don't know. Only being 6/10 off of Piastri, I don't know. It sounds like a lot, to be honest. Either way, he's outqualified Sainz and Williams, which some people might argue he should be doing, but then again, the Williams is a lot more stable. He's outqualified Lewis. He's outqualified his teammate by 1 second. So, I think it was like I don't know, it was an average qualifying for Max. Like, it depends where you think the Red Bull is. I feel like he's qualified where the Red Bull should be, to be honest. Like, I feel like P7 in qualifying is where he should be. Like, I feel like Yuki's underperformed. I don't feel like Max has overperformed in that Red Bull. I think overperforming in that Red Bull for Max would have been qualifying P5. So I think P7's, I think that's like good. I think that's good for Max. Like, good for Max in the Red Bull. Then, in the race, Max managed to move up a position ahead of Gasly. And obviously, no, actually 2 positions. No, who's he lost? Wait, he's lost out to someone. Oh, he's lost out to Lewis, but Lewis gained off the safety car. And then he's gained on Antonelli, who got cucked by the safety car. So, ignoring them two, they cancel each other out. He's gained on Gasly. You know, some people will probably argue the Alpine was better than the Red Bull this weekend. I don't know if I buy that, to be honest. I still think the Red Bull, when it's in the right window, is a better car than all the midfield teams. But obviously, it's harder to drive. And I think Max, once again, showing I'm in a hard-to-drive car, and I'm still putting it in the top 6. Even just 10 seconds behind Lewis, but Lewis got absolutely lucky with that safety car. And he's finished 2 seconds up the road from Gasly. I don't know. I think Max had a good weekend. I'm not going to sit here and say, like... I'm not going to sit here and say he's done exceptionally well in the Red Bull, because we've seen what's possible in Japan of, like, when you get the car in the right window. I think he could have beaten Norris and Gasly and Antonelli potentially in qualifying. Potentially, I don't know. He's done well against his teammate. In the race, he's beating Gasly, Ocon. Yeah, I'm thinking like a 7. I don't know. It's hard, man. Max, you're too good to rate, man. You're too good to rate. I'm thinking like a 7 or a 7.5. True, I forgot as well. The brake issues, the 2 bad stops. Yeah, I'll keep it at 7.5 then. Not a 7 then. Someone voted 1. Let's all vote 10 to blow his mind. Considering he got fucked over like 5 times by his team. 8 is fair. Yeah, no, I get that. He had a bad strategy and 2 slow stops here. Oh, I forgot about the hard tire, bro. Oh my god, I forgot actually how bad Max's race is. They put him on the hard tire for like 10 laps. I might go 8, but I don't know if that's glazing, but then you guys have done 8 as well. I forgot the hard tire stint. Alpine was turned around for Bahrain. People always overlook that. Yeah, true. Max had 2 shitty stops, solid rather than good. 6 was decent considering the pit stops and awful hards. Lewis was P5 before the safety car too, wasn't he? Yeah, but he hadn't pit yet, so he got a free pit stop. Max had a very unlucky race and 2 disastrous pits and still gained a place. Car was giving him shit the whole race too, at least. 8 is a bit too much, I reckon. 7 is fair. It's really hard to judge drivers relative to expectation. Yeah, honestly, the Red Bull, every single week, this is for the last 3 years we've done driver ratings. Every single weekend, the Red Bull and the Sauber are always the hardest cars to rate because it's like, where is the Sauber? Where is the Red Bull? It's so hard, man. It's so hard. Watch his race on driver cam. Lost 2 places at the start. Couldn't pass the Haas and Alpine on speed. Car is bad, but it's still better than those. Hard weren't compatible with that car at all, though. Those hards were so bad. The only thing you could blame him for is the bad start, but his brakes were nowhere. Wait, Max had a bad start. What happened off the start? I don't remember what happened at the start of the race. Wait, it's 4 p.m. What the fuck? I never streamed this late. Makes sense. We're 4 hours into the stream and I went live 2 hours later today. Yeah, the wheel spin. Him driving a P6 with a shit car, bad strategy until it stops an 8, yet Norris is also going to get an 8. Who said? We haven't even rated Norris yet. Calm down, bro. Norris is not getting an 8. That is for sure. Norris is not getting an 8. Norris is 100%, I'm telling you right now, he's not getting an 8 from me. He's not getting an 8 from me. He lost 2 places, but merely gained 1 back. It's a waste to have the best car in a tractor. You mean the best driver in a tractor? I want to get to Oscar already. We'll get there. All right, we'll move on. I think I'm going to say 8 for Max. It's hard. I think there's an argument for a 7. There's an argument for an 8. I think because of how, you know what, I'm going to change it. Because of how harsh I was on Yuki, I think I have to be harsh on Max as well. I'm going to say 7.5. I'm going to say 7.5. All right, we're going to end the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 8. Majority of you guys saying 8. All right, guys, we move on to the top 5 now. Let's get on into it. Top 5. Lewis Hamilton. I think this is going to be a very polarizing one, to be honest. A very polarizing one. Now, guys, we're moving on to the top 5. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We do driver ratings every single Monday on the stream after a Grand Prix weekend. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube right now, come over to the Twitch stream. In Twitch chat is where you can vote on the poll. It does not count if you type in the YouTube chat or the TikTok chat. So come over to Twitch, type what you rate in chat, and be sure to follow the stream as well if you have been enjoying it so far. Okay, Lewis Hamilton is a tough one to rate. Is a really, really tough one to rate this weekend. So he qualified P9. The only person he out-qualified in Q3 was Yuki, who we've already spoken about, and I said he did poor. He got out-qualified by Leclerc by 6/10. 6/10. He got out-qualified by Sainz, by Gasly, by Lando Norris, who had a poor qualifying, Max, who's driving a tractor, Antonelli, who's just been born. He's had a poor qualifying, and he'll admit that himself. He's had a poor qualifying. In the race, his race pace was very lackluster in comparison to Leclerc. They were both on the same tire, and if I'm not mistaken, prior to the pit stops, where are we? Yeah, so prior to the prior to the safety car, he was 11 seconds down on Leclerc. To be honest, that's not too bad. But I still feel like 11 seconds slower is not great. But it's maybe not as bad as I thought. He's then been absolutely saved by the safety car. All he's done is been put on the right tire. He's been put on the right tire and for a safety car, for the perfect timing of a safety car. Had the safety car completely save him. He's come out after the safety car in P5 on a hard tire. Thankfully for him, the only cars behind him were Gasly, who was on a hard, the same tire as him, Ocon on a hard, and then Max, who had the buffer to the cars in front. And then Antonelli, his only real competitor that could have really overtaken him, got absolutely fucked over by the safety car. So he's had a poor qualifying, in my opinion, mid-race pace, being saved by the safety car, and there's no one around him to battle him at the end of the race. So we didn't really get to see, like, how he actually would have been on those hards. But by the end of the race, he's finished 8th 8 seconds behind Leclerc, which again isn't bad, but when you're comparing to your teammate, he's still done worse than Leclerc. I'm going to be completely honest. If it wasn't for the safety car, I think we'd be sitting here talking about Lewis outside the points. We'll never know, but I generally think he finishes outside the points without the safety car. I think he gets eaten up by Max. I think he gets eaten up by Doohan. I think he gets eaten up by Antonelli. Well, he's already behind Antonelli and Ocon at this point. But I think he gets eaten up by Max. I think he gets eaten up by Doohan. And then, actually, he'd get 1 point. He'd finish P10. And then it depends if Sonoda or Sainz or Behrman are able to catch and get past him. I think he got saved so much by that safety car. Completely disagree. Ferrari got shafted by the safety car. Ferrari got shafted by the safety car. Are we real right now? Safety car was bad for him. How was the safety car bad? The safety car has come out and he's in P5. And he hasn't pit yet. Him and Leclerc haven't pit yet. And he's in P5. So he gets a free pit stop because of the safety car. Ferrari won faster tire and would have gone sauce for sure, said. To be fair, it would have been, I wouldn't say he's been fucked by the safety car. I think the potential of sitting here being like, yo, Ferrari did a good strategy, they went onto the softs, would have been good. Yeah, but Ferrari still had another pit at this point. Ferrari still had another pit stop to go at this point. Chance they could have tried the softs. Have I completely got this wrong? Or am I... Have I completely got this wrong? Or am I right in thinking he's been saved by the safety car here? The late pit and tire offset was the entire strategy. Ferrari gone medium, safety car hard. Right. What do you mean everyone had one stop? Safety car helped. Ferrari decision on hard tires fucked him. No, right, but he wouldn't have finished outside the points. You're wrong. Ferrari was catching up on everyone because of their better tires. No, I think you're right. Who said it? Eshen. I think I'm right about the safety car saving him, but I'm wrong about right about the safety car saving him, but I'm wrong about him finishing outside the points. Because the safety car meant Antonelli was now irrelevant in this race. Yeah, because all these people had to pit. And Hamilton had to pit again. Actually, to be fair, then Hamilton would have been on softs. No, Antonelli would have came out in front of Hamilton. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you get... Wait. Yeah, look. There's a 25-ish second gap from Hamilton to Antonelli. Antonelli would have been in front of him on softs. I mean, then his tires would have felt... I mean, it's all it woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? At the end of the day, it's all it woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's hard to tell. May have hindered Leclerc, but not Hamilton. How's it going? With Machoom on the stream. They had to ditch mediums. Everyone had made their one stop by then. Safety car was good for Lewis, but bad for Charles because Charles had better tire conditions. He had to stay for longer. They had a 7-lap tire offset. That was the entire strategy, man. Yeah, no, fair. 2 hours. I don't think we're guys, Ponden hasn't watched Luke Sam's video. I'm sensing a housemate diss track season. I don't know why his videos always pop on my recommended. To be honest, I don't think me or most people in chat are right. I think I'm right about the safety car helping Hamilton, but I think I'm wrong in thinking how much it helped him. And I think you guys are right in the sense of, yeah, the strategy for Ferrari was actually looking way better. It was looking good. But I think you guys are wrong in thinking that Hamilton would have actually finished P5. Like, I think his pace wasn't that great, and I don't think he would have beaten Antonelli. I still think he would have been in that mix battling those people, but yeah. Have been giving Max and Lewis the same rating. The Ferrari was clearly the better car this weekend, and Lewis ended one place ahead of Max Verstappen. People don't realize that safety car ruined Ferrari's strategy. It didn't ruin Ferrari's strategy. Sorry. It ruined their strategy, but it also ruined a lot of other The safety car ruined Ferrari's strategy. They wanted to go med, soft, right? And obviously going onto the soft, they're going to be quicker at the end of the race. So yes, it ruined their strategy, but it didn't ruin their race because it ruined Antonelli, it ruined Doohan, it ruined, who's the other one? Sainz got imploded up the arse by Tsunoda. So it didn't ruin their race because other drivers got fucked over by the safety car. So it affected their strategy, yes, and it affected maybe the outlook that we have on Ferrari in the race, but they benefited from it because all the competition behind literally just pit. They get a free pit stop under the safety car. Antonelli and probably Max would have needed to pit again just because of how early they did their second stop. It's better to say Antonelli, Gasly, and others got shoved by the safety car than Ferrari got helped by the safety car. That's a good point. That's a good point, Richard. That's a good point. It affected Ferrari the most. Everyone else still had to pit for mediums and got that free under safety car. I think the safety car didn't directly help Hamilton. It just that it cooked the others. Yeah, good point. Well, but that's the thing though. It ruining the others in turn helps Hamilton because he doesn't have to race Antonelli anymore. He doesn't have to race Doohan anymore. He doesn't have to race these guys anymore. Doesn't have to race Gasly anymore, I should say. Doesn't have to race Behrman anymore. Doesn't have to race, Albon anymore. He doesn't have to go into the traffic. So it kind of has helped him, to be honest. Anyways, I don't know what to rate Lewis now. I'm fucking lost. I thought he was poor in qualifying. 6/10 off his teammate. And then his race pace was, again, I still think his race pace was mediocre. In the end, I think he's had a good result. I think he, again, regardless of safety car, regardless of Ferrari strategy, whatever, I think he's delivered with what he was given. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's driver of the day. By the way, we haven't spoken about driver of the day yet. Why is Lewis driver of the day? How is Ocon not driver of the day? Are you kidding me? Yeah, maybe his rating is better than what I had in mind, but I don't know what to rate him now. I'm glad he showed more confidence than Norris. No, absolutely. I think if we talk about... This is the problem when we're doing driver ratings, is like, whenever I say something, people are going to be like, you just gave him a 6, but then you said he did really good, or like, you know, like what I say sometimes might contradict my rating, but like what I'm about to say has nothing to do with his rating. I'm really happy to see Lewis doing better in Ferrari. I'm really happy to hear that he's adapting his driving style and trying to figure it out. That's amazing. But I still think there's work to do. I think there's work to do. Yeah, I'm thinking a 6. I think I would have gone 5 if it wasn't for you guys informing me about the safety car thing. Again, I still disagree with the fact that it fucked them. I don't think it fucked them. I just don't think it I just think it fucked the others. Yeah. I'm gonna say 6. I think not good qualifying comparison to Leclerc, weaker race pace than Leclerc, would have finished lower if it wasn't for the safety car in my opinion. And I think he got lucky with the safety car, but he did the job with what he was given. Your Kiwi accent comes out a bit when you say 6. Yeah, I mean, that's the word everyone jokes about the New Zealanders the most with. Ferrari tried to avoid using hard tires with the strategy, so when safety car happened, they had no more mediums. One of them should go for softs like Russell did, yeah. Driver of the day deserved a 10 out of 10. I disagree. It's hilarious that both Hamilton and Norris were choices for driver of the day. Wait, Norris was on the driver of the day? Bin it off at this point. Because T-Mac would have too much new interior design if Ocon got it. True. More unfair, driver of the day, Antonelli in China, or Hamilton. Oh, Antonelli's was way more unfair. Hamilton, I can see why, because he did move up positions, but yeah, Antonelli's was ridiculous. They weren't planning on using hards, of course. It fucked them. The C1. Yeah, no, it fucked Manny. It fucked their strategy, but it didn't fuck their result. Behrman or Ocon was not in top 5 is a joke. Lewis got 29% of the vote. Yeah, that's what? 29% is wild. All right, let's move on. You guys, majority of you saying 7 for Lewis. A lot of you saying 6 as well. All right, we move on to the top 4 now. Let's talk about this guy's teammate as we move on to Charles Leclerc. All right, what do you vote, Charles Leclerc? On the poll, get your votes in 1 through to 10. It may have ducked the result. Leclerc may have got Lando. Yuki Japan was awful as well. All right. Let's talk about Leclerc. So Leclerc qualified in P3. I thought he did fucking amazing in qualifying. Maybe Ferrari have turned their car around with their new floor. Maybe they've turned their car around with their new floor, but yeah, I think qualifying P3 ahead of Antonelli, ahead of Norris, ahead of Max, and 6/10 ahead of his teammate. I think he's done awesome. Honestly, I don't think Leclerc could have done better in qualifying. So I'm honestly giving him 9.5. 9.5 in qualifying, to be honest. Don't think he could have done much better, really. And then in the race, he managed to finish P4. I would have loved for him to hold off Norris, considering where Norris started the race and how Norris's race went down. I think that is a little bit of a testament to how... Now, this is where it comes into play. I don't think Leclerc gained or lost positions from the safety car. But like you guys were saying in chat, he was put onto the hards, but he probably should have gone on the softs. Or it was this weird range of like, you go on the softs, you have to stretch them. You go on the hards, they're just a dog shit tire. So I think it sucks that he lost to Norris, but I don't think he should have. But then again, his pace was really good to the point where the safety car... Well, I'm not sitting here like with Lewis going, he was saved by the safety car. He was gifted by the safety car. His result was fully deserved from him. If anything, he lost a position because of the safety car. Or because of the strategy, I should say. Yeah, I think Leclerc's had an amazing weekend. He's finished 8 seconds up the road from Lewis. I think the fact that he almost ended on the podium in that Ferrari. Again, we don't really know. We don't really know where that Ferrari is just yet with this new upgrade. But from where I think it is, I think he's done a phenomenal job. I'm gonna say 9. I even feel like you could go higher for Leclerc, to be honest. But like what could have Leclerc done better to have gotten a 10? Lost 2 positions just from racing. 2 positions. He lost 1 position. It was Lando fucking Norris. Podium would have been a 10. Yeah, true. Beating Lando probably would have been a 10. I agree. Fair enough. Maybe like, yeah, I get you. The Leclerc is championship worthy, but not with Ferrari. Without safety car, he finishes before Lando. Leclerc is championship worthy, but not with... Oh, wait. I think he wanted Charles to defend more against Lando, like Max in Mexico. Yeah, I agree. It's a clear 9. He got fucked by safety car, but he was battling Norris during the race. Well, question is then, what could he have done better to get a 10 then? Doesn't Lewis 6 seem harsh now? No, because he qualified 6/10 lower than Leclerc. His race pace was slower than Leclerc's, and unlike Leclerc, where it generally was the safety car screwing him over from a place, Lewis didn't lose any places from the safety car. He only benefited from the safety car because Antonelli and Doohan got fucked over. Lewis didn't benefit from the safety car. He benefited from the fact that other people got fucked by it. Lost 2 places in the start to give more than a 9. Wait, did he have a bad race start? I mean, even that, I guess he still redeemed himself. Wait, where is Leclerc? So he lost to Russell. And then what? Norris as well? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, true. I guess there's an argument. If he had have held on to P2 off the race start, he could have defended for longer, and then it would have helped him to finish on the podium at the end, and regardless of what happened to the safety car. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I was 9's fair then. 9's fair. True, he did start in the medium, so that's probably why. Good point. All right. I think it's a pretty easy one. Oh, okay, maybe not. Majority of you guys saying 8 on the poll. Wow, okay. I genuinely don't feel like what Leclerc could have done much different other than the race start, really. Other than he had a phenomenal weekend for where I think that Ferrari is. So, majority of you guys saying 8. The rest of you guys saying 9 though. 8 is low, but yeah, he was on medium. Others were on soft. Safety car ruined the strat though, since no safety car they would have went soft. Yeah, here you can say he got screwed by safety car since top 4 got the same advantage, but he lost his offset. Yeah, no, I agree. All right. We move on to the top 3 now. A very spicy one. Again, be sure to join the Twitch chat if you want to vote on the poll. We move on. This is going to be interesting. Lando fans, shut your eyes, block your ears. We're on to Lando. What do you guys rate Lando Norris's Bahrain Grand Prix? Info edits, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. This is, oh my god, look how polarizing it is already. Look how polarizing it is. Holy. Oh my god, it is so spread. It is so spread. Wow. All right, let's talk about it. Qualifying. Reminder, fastest car on the grid. He qualified 4/10 behind Oscar Piastri. He got out-qualified by Pierre Gasly in an Alpine. Kimi Antonelli, who I don't think had an amazing lap in a Mercedes. And then Charles Leclerc. And George Russell in a Mercedes. At the end of the day, the McLaren should have been 1-2. Even if he finished 1-3 behind Russell or 1-4 behind Leclerc, we would still be sitting here going, why haven't you maximized this car? But no, he's even done worse than that. He's behind Antonelli. Oh, are we on ads? Oh, wait for ads and wait for ads. Wait for ads to end before we get onto the top 3. Bro, the music has not been musicking today. Holy shit. Okay, we're back. We're back to good music. All right, we'll just wait for the ads then. He was racing with eyes full of tears. He finished P3 in a wet race while everyone was dry. That's impressive. All right, ads should be done now. Wait, one of 5 ads? Wait, still on ads? What the fuck? That ended on my. They almost ended on my screen. No way, you guys are only just on ads now. It says ads on progress. They're done. Okay. Anyways. Wait, what? How you guys still on the first ad? The fuck? It literally says they're done for me. Okay, anyways. Let's talk about it. So, the expectation from McLaren is P1. And he's qualified P6. Even if he finished 1-3, even if they finish 1-3 or 1-4, I would still be sitting here criticizing whatever driver it is, in this case, Lando, because you should be getting 1-2 in this car, and if not, you're not maximizing the car. He's been out-qualified by his teammate by 4/10. He's been out-qualified by Pierre Gasly in an Alpine, Kimi Antonelli, who I don't think had a great lap in a Mercedes, and Charles Leclerc, who I've already spoken about already, I think maximized his lap in Ferrari. I think he's disappointed. He's got Max Verstappen just behind him. And, you know, if you think about it this way, if it wasn't for Lewis not being comfortable in the Ferrari and Red Bull having their struggles, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I'm just saying, he would have qualified P9 in the fastest car. You know what I mean? Like, it was not a good lap at all for what was the fastest car. Then, in the race, he's had an amazing start, right? Don't get me wrong. Amazing start. Made up 3 positions right off the bat. Moved up to P3. But in doing so, he's tried his best to maximize his start, and he's gotten a penalty for it. He's got a 5-second penalty for it. And I'm not saying he's cheated or anything like that. He's not really gained an advantage starting that much outside his box. But at the end of the day, my point is he's made a mistake trying to maximize his start, and he's copped a 5-second pen, which has ultimately cost him a P2 on Russell by the end of the race, if you look at it like that. During the race, he spent a lot of time stuck behind Russell, and he couldn't get past. Well, he actually didn't get past. No, he dropped behind. He was stuck behind Russell the entire race. Then the safety car... then when Leclerc and the Ferraris put onto new mediums, he got overtaken. He got outpaced. He got outraced by Leclerc. Obviously, Leclerc was on better tires, yes. But it's a McLaren. It's a McLaren. And then the safety car came out. Norris, at one point, was getting overtaken by both Ferraris. Norris managed to redeem himself, come back, close in on Russell, and Russell defended amazingly. I thought Lando's attacking attempts on Russell were very, very disappointing. In the end, he's finished P3, right? And that's the thing. We can sit here and say, yo, he's finished P3. He's got 15 points in the championship. 15 points to his championship total. But that's 10 points less than his teammate. That's 10 points less than his championship contender. He's finished behind Mercedes, Russell, who he shouldn't be finishing behind. He shouldn't be qualifying behind. He shouldn't be finishing behind. He's finished 16 seconds down on his teammate. Again, it's a P3, and I know some people are going to say this is harsh, but right now, the McLaren is the fastest car. Piastri proved how it's the fastest car and how it should have been 1-2 this weekend. And he's finished P3. He's qualified P6. What was the other mistake he made in the race? He had his race start. Didn't he get another 5 second as well? Or am I tripping? There's another mistake he made, right? In the race? Or am I wrong? Black and white flag. Oh, no, that's not a pen. That's not a pen. I swear you got another pen, though. Oh, he overtook Lewis off track. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, not only has he been overtaken by Lewis, but then to get Lewis back, he overtakes off track, which... I get mistakes happen, 100%, but it's another reason why he didn't finish ahead of Russell at the end of the race, was because he went off track, fucked that up, had to give the place back, which lost him so much time. He had to re-overtake Lewis. You know, it goes to show, like, his attacking attempts on Russell, his attacking attempts on Hamilton and Leclerc just weren't good enough. They weren't good enough. If I'm being honest, you know, like, obviously 5 is an average weekend. You did average in your car. And if I'm being honest, I would say he did below average in McLaren this weekend. He was below average in qualifying. I thought he was maybe on average in the car. The only benefit is that he had an average result. In my mind, I was planning to rate him 6. But like, he didn't have an above average weekend. He had an average weekend at best. He didn't qualify well. He wasn't on his teammate. He finished P3 when he should have finished P2. I'm going to go 5.5 for now. Maybe I'll change in a second, but again, the expectations are high. The thing is, the expectations are high for Lando. But it's got nothing to do with Lando. It's got to do with the car. It's got to do with the car. The McLaren should be the best. The McLaren should be the best this weekend. And he finished P2. Sorry, P3 and qualified P6. No. I gotta be, yeah. I gotta be fair, man. I gotta be fair. Track limits and lockups, if I call correctly. What's up, Emma Loves Fridays? Thank you for the follow, by the way. Same with you, Johnny Blome. Okay, anyways, what do you guys say about Lando? Let me scroll back up, because I was waiting for ads and yapping for a little bit. Cannot be higher than Lewis with a 6. Saved by safety car and only getting 5 seconds for the start. Was he saved by the safety car? Let me have a look. If he was saved by the safety car, I'm happy to go lower on the rating. I don't think he was saved by the safety car, to be honest. But I don't know. Lando wouldn't have had the first line without that extra starting incident. Shouldn't have got a bigger should have got a bigger pen after gaining 3 places and then messed around with Leclerc. I don't know if that much would have gave him the advantage, but I see where you're coming from. 100% a 4 rating, and I am saying this as a McLaren fan. For a podium place finish, it feels like he was out of the points. When Max Futural said it was hard to watch. Shocking qualifying, missed the grid box, stuck behind Russell, loses restart to Ham, takes forever to get past Leclerc, can't get past Russell, who's a car falling behind. While Oscar is 16 seconds ahead. Only pulled to start. Actually, no. When you put it like that, like again, I have to take. Like when you look at it like that, like I think what it is, it's the P3. You know what I mean? The P3 sounds good. Yeah, but he finished P3. Yeah, but he's still the championship leader. But when you put it like that, shocking quali, missed the grid box, stuck behind Russell, loses the restart to Hamilton, can't get past Leclerc, can't get past Russell, and 16 seconds behind Piastri. When you put it like that, it is a below average weekend, isn't it? It is a below average weekend. Struggled to overtake Leclerc and could not overtake George in a car that was falling apart. Lando wouldn't have had the first line. I read that. Probably his worst GP this year, but amazing race. He missed his qualifying, cheated at the start, and overtook Hamilton outside the track limits. Honestly, the worst podium I've ever seen in my life, and I'm saying this of a fan. Wait, actually, to be fair, it could actually be one of the worst podiums of all time. Track limits and lockups. No pace. In the best car, and that other drivers bully him. The Leclerc overtake. Maybe am I scared? I think you know what it is. I think I want to do a bad rating for Norris, but I'm scared people will just say you're a Norris hater. I think I'm generally letting the Lando fans glaze my rating too good here. I think I'm being too nice, man. He didn't get an advantage from the grid position. Every battle he is allows to get pushed off track. Yeah, true. Zero aggression. Don't forget the black and white flag. A black and white flag doesn't mean anything. He didn't get a point. He didn't get a penalty for it. No, he didn't cheat off the start, but he still got a pen for it. That cost him P2. Rage paid for the views. Not gonna lie, I think Lando hate affect a bit of his affects his rating a little bit. Potentially. I mean, he still finished. Yeah, I would look. 4/10 off your teammate. 4 positions lower than he should be. Finished P3 with all those mistakes. If it wasn't for the safety car, Piastri probably would have finished, what, 30 seconds up the road? How much was Piastri ahead prior to the safety car? On the brakes, but only. Oh my god, yeah. Piastri would have finished 30 seconds up the road if it wasn't for the safety car. Holy. His rating's just coming down and down and down. It's a below average weekend. 4 is below average, and it was a below average weekend for Lando. Put it this way. If he didn't make those mistakes and he finished 30 seconds behind Piastri, we'd probably still be sitting here going like, oh, that was a below average. That was an above average weekend. An average, maybe just above average weekend. But then you throw in the bad qualify, the mistakes in the races, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, it's below average, man. It's below average. He needs to be like Max in 2021. Remember 10 points in the same car. Yeah. I'm going 4. I'm sticking to it. I came into today's stream going, I'm gonna give him a 4. And then as the stream was going on, I was like, oh, you know what, he'll probably end up getting a 6. And then nah. Sorry, Lando. Let's step it up, lad. Let's step it up. All right, let's move on. So majority of you guys saying a 6. Okay. It's very spread though. 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 3s. Okay. Interesting. All right, we're in the poll there. We move on to the top 2 now. Oh, baby. Ooh, George Russell. Ooh. What do you rate George Russell's Bahrain Grand Prix? Type in the Twitch chat what you give George Russell out of 10. Let's talk about it. Gee, Russ, man, you're so good. You're just every week you're moving up my tier list, man. Every week you're moving up my tier list of drivers that I love. In qualifying, he's qualified P2. I think that was exactly what the Mercedes should be doing, which is, to be honest, it should have been P3 behind Lando. But it's not. It's ahead of Lando. He's qualified P3. Not just P2. 1/10 behind Piastri. The fastest car in the grid, he's qualified 1/10, within 1/10 of. And he's outqualified his teammate by 0.2. You could argue 0.2 to a rookie isn't that great, but I think it's more a testament to how well Antonelli's doing because Russell was right on where he should be. Then, in the race, he lost, wait, no, he didn't lose the position off the start. Sorry, I'm thinking about Leclerc. He was in it the whole time. He never lost a position to a car behind. He was driving in P2 the entire time. Yeah, didn't even drop positions. After he came through the field when he needed to. He defended Norris for P2. In no world should he be finishing P2 with Norris on what I believe was the better tire behind him in a faster car. And, wait, no, I forgot. He started P3, didn't he? He got past Leclerc off the start. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot he started P3 because of the grid pen, which wasn't even his fault. And he made up a position off the start. And then he's finished P2. But the best part about this race, and is the reason why I'm going to give him the rating he's going to get, is because he went the entire race, right? He went the entire race with no DRS, his brake-by-wire failure, his dashboard flicking on and off, his team having to tell him switch modes to try keep the car alive. To hold on to Norris whilst doing all of that must have been such a brain fuck. Like, imagine anything you do in your daily life, right? It could be walking to school. It could be driving your own car. It could be playing a video game. Imagine that while being hindered. Imagine driving to work and, like, you've got aircon blowing air in your face. Or imagine walking to school and it's raining. Or imagine playing a video game and your mouse is, like, half dying. Imagine driving a Formula 1 car at those speeds and your car's falling to bits. And that's why I'm going to give Russell a 10. I think he probably already deserved a 10 anyway. But it's 100% a 10 with all those issues. I'm loving Russell at the moment, man. He's absolutely killing it. He couldn't have done anything more in that car. You know, to say, oh, he should have finished closer to Piastri or, oh, he should have beaten Piastri is just ridiculous. And, yeah, lovely from G-Russ. 10, but no DRS made no difference. Yeah, true. But what I mean is, like, because he had no DRS and he was worried about Norris getting past him, he had to deal with all the manual DRS stuff to get that all prepared for if Norris caught up, is what I mean. Like, he had to deal with all those problems because he never knew if he was going to use DRS or not, but he had to deal with getting it sorted for if he did. I hate Russell, but he was a 9.5 yesterday. Took every advantage he could have, every small advantage he could. Audaciously putting that wonky Merc to P2 yesterday. On top of the grid penalty, crazy good start. George's mentality has gotten so much better since his first couple of years. I'm a certified Russell hater, but the guy's a posh twat, but it's still a 10 out of 10 race. Something to Leclerc. On softs at Bahrain for 19 laps. He wouldn't have DRS anyway. 20 plus lap old softs and managed P2. 10 out of 10. Mate, 24 laps on softs in the desert. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. There's just so many little things that Russell did this weekend that were just maximized and so good. He had almost clean air in front of him, so 10 is kind of high, I guess. Also, he looks good shirtless. True. Not expected, but fair. Based on these first 4 rounds, I think Russell deserves to be talked about as a championship contender. For me, he was a championship contender before the season. Because my prediction for this season is there's going to be 4 drivers in the championship fight by the end of the year. Max, Lando. Well, actually, my prediction at the start of the year was Max, Lando, Russell, and Leclerc. But you're going to have to take Leclerc out of it and put Piastri in it now. I didn't think Piastri would be this good. Incident Leclerc, maybe with a follow on the stream. All right. We've said everything we need to about Russell. He's absolutely smashed it. So let's end the poll there. 52 votes on the poll. And 76% have said a 10 for Russell. Lovely stuff. All right. We move on to P1. It is Oscar Piastri. What do you rate Oscar Piastri's weekend out of 10? Get your votes in on the poll. Yeah, look, I think it's the same as Russell here, right? P1, absolutely dominated qualifying. 1/10 ahead of Russell. You know, I did say, because of Lando's qualifying, it's hard to tell if the McLaren should have been better. Like, was McLaren's best lap 29.6 and he should have been 0.2 quicker? Either way, he's outqualified Russell by a 10th. I think how close Russell was to Piastri is probably more a testament to Russell than a flaw from Piastri here. Anyways, he's qualified P1 in the car that should be P1. He's out-qualified Norris by 4/10. Then, in the race, he's kept the race start, not lost any positions, awesome race start, pulled off into the distance, didn't have to do anything for the rest of the day. He obviously had a safety car to worry about, and it didn't affect him at all. And he just had amazing race pace. And I think, you know, he didn't make a single mistake. And, you know, you could argue it's a free 10. You could argue it's just a free 10 that he's getting. But when your teammate makes himself look like a clown and you drive absolutely flawless, there's no reason not to get a 10. You know what I mean? Maybe land in another universe, Lando qualifies well and Lando races Piastri and beats him on race pace, and we sit here and go, oh, Piastri's race pace wasn't that good. But in this universe, we don't know how good Lando would have been. All we have to go off of is the fact that Lando was stuck in traffic. Piastri's pulled off in the distance. He's had an amazing qualifying. He's not made a mistake. He's been absolutely flawless. And you have to give him a 10. You have to give him a 10. He didn't hold back Russell, so McLaren could get a 1-2. So I'm giving him an 8. Okay. Best weekend and GP for the year. P1, baby. Yeah, that's going to be Oscar's best weekend. Was it better than China? I think it's got to be better than China because of his sprint qualifying and sprint letting him down. Right? Maniversal, one of the stream. 15-second gap in 20 laps. Wait, I forgot about that. No. Paddy brings up a good point. Even if Lando was at the front, I still think his race pace is elite now, looking back, now that you've said that. 15 seconds in 10 laps, and if it wasn't for the safety car, he would have been 30 seconds up the road. That is like a Max Verstappen-esque 2023 weekend, do you know what I mean? He won without the drink. Yeah, he won without a drink as well. 30 seconds is insane. What do you mean? That's over half a second per lap. I think that advantage isn't as big as you think. 1.5 tenths is a lot in 2025. Yeah, true. It could be. If only Lando qualified better, we'd actually know. Thoughts on George Russell not getting the pen? We spoke about earlier data, but real quick just to tell you, I think the FIA was very fair in not giving him a pen because he gave back the advantage and he couldn't really help what happened to him. And yeah, big props to Russell for realizing he gained an advantage and for giving it back. Goat Street 2025 All Drivers Championship. Best weekend of his career. Maniversal, name of the follower on the stream. Just a little poll here for the Twitch chat. Not a poll on screen, just a poll in the chat. Who will win the championship? Let's see where everyone's sitting right now. Right now, with 20 races to go, who will win the championship, do you think? If you had to take a guess right now. Vote on the poll. Vote on the poll. Perez. Nice. Is knee jerking coming now? Knee jerking? Wait, what? Ask me after Miami. No way, dude. Not doing it. Oscar Piastri, not gonna lie, I'm unbiased, but for good reason. Max got a lot of these free 10s previous season. Yeah, true. But Paul, the thing is though with Max's free 10s is we would look at Max's entire weekend and we'd go, oh, well, he made a mistake here, or he could have had better race pace here. He got a lot of 10s. But the thing is, I can't look at Piastri this weekend and be like, oh, he could have done a little bit better here, or he made a mistake here. And that's why I think it's a 10. Because comparing it to Max's 10s, Max's 2023 season, there were races where Max made mistakes and we gave him 9.5s, but Piastri didn't make any mistakes. Anyways, while we wait for that poll to run down, wow, majority of you guys saying Piastri. More people think someone else will win the championship than Lando Norris. That is crazy. That is crazy. If you did this poll after Japan, it'd be different. Yeah, it'd definitely be more 50-50. But I think this race is why people... I think this is why this race showed people that, okay, Lando hasn't ironed out these mistakes yet. So, yeah. I think Lando makes too many mistakes. Oscar will get it. However, when Oscar did make a mistake, it was a major, and it was the reason he isn't in the championship. So we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, no, I've said it. I've been saying it, and I'm still saying it. This championship is going to come down to, one, if Russell, Leclerc, or Max can get into the fight with their cars, I think they will beat Piastri and Norris. Sorry, Piastri and Norris to the championship. Just because I think both Piastri and Norris this season have already shown they are drivers who tend to make mistakes. Even though Piastri's doing really well at the moment, Australia obviously made that mistake. He's not being completely on it. He wasn't completely on it in China, wasn't completely on it in Japan. And I think if Russell, Max, or Leclerc are given the car, they could over the course of the season. I mean, I feel like Leclerc's already out of the picture now because the car's been so bad. But like Max and Russell, if there's a turnaround, if they are out of the picture and it's between Lando and Piastri, I genuinely think it's down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. I think, like we saw this weekend, well, Lando made a mistake. Last weekend, Lando was the better driver. China, Piastri was the better driver. Australia, Lando was the better driver. I think it's going to come down to mistakes because, like you said, Piastri in Australia, his points were cost by a mistake. This weekend, Lando's points were cost by a mistake. So it's going to be so interesting to see how it plays out. Anyways, guys, thank you all for joining me for the driver ratings. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. If you're over on TikTok or over on YouTube, we're going to stay live on Twitch for a little bit longer. So come join us over here. It is the place to be. But that is it for the driver ratings today. Thank you guys all for watching. We do drive ratings every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. So join me next Monday after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to do it all again. But yeah, appreciate you guys all discussing things with me. I know it gets a little like heated and very like technical and whatever. But that's what I love. I love breaking down all the little nuances of Formula One. And, you know, at the end of the day, ratings are very opinion based. You know, some people might give a driver a high rating because they're a rookie and they should and they've done well, whereas I'm very critical and I'm like, I just rate solely off of this. So it's always fun to discuss everyone's thoughts. And like even today, like I learned a lot. I forgot about I forgot that Ferrari double stopped and that Ferrari didn't necessarily get saved by a safety car. They more benefited from other people getting fucked over. You guys learned that Liam Lawson didn't get 35 seconds of pens, and that was just some bullshit online. So we all learned stuff together today. We all learned stuff together. But 2 10s. 10 for Piastri, 10 for Russell, 9.5 for Gasly. I think they were the big dogs today. I think they were the top 3. Yeah, they would have been. They would have been. Anyways, we'll end the poll there. 10 for Piastri. Boom. All right. Again, thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix driver ratings. Be sure to join me this weekend for Saudi Arabia. Watch longs for every single session. But anyways, TikTok, YouTube gang. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.